it is 0 degrees according to my phone. It's going to be -1 by the time the second half begins. Bitterly cold, clear skies though, and no problem in terms of snow on the pitch. They had the lights on yesterday and this morning to melt the snow. There was a little bit left at the Gallagher end that had to be shoveled and brushed off by the ground staff, but yeah, apart from a little bit, it's just that it's just collected in
underground
front of the
heat is amazing
advertising board. Yeah, you wouldn't know, would you?
No, that hasn't been a great deal of snow. There's not a great deal of snow outside. A lot of it's melted away. The undersoil heating would have been on as well, because they would know that temperatures were going to drop. Pitch is immaculate. It's ideal for a game. So no problems whatsoever. Little bits scattering the snow and just around the track area, but that's it.
Yeah. So cold day, but pitch looks fine, and 10 minutes to go until Newcastle United take on Crystal Palace here on BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sport website and app. After a packed December leading up to the festive week, and ahead of what is a really busy January from this week with midweek football all the time. Eddie Howe is pleased that Newcastle actually had a bit more rest time between their games that they played, Chelsea, Man United and Burnley, and into today over the Christmas and New Year period.
Yeah, as you say, slightly different. Rare for us this season that we've had the 4 to 5 day lead into games. Positive for us because we're nursing players back from injury, so the more days we get, the more chance we get to get some important players back. I expect us to be in good physical condition for the games to come, but certainly there's going to be no rest during January. This is going to be a season-defining month for us, with very minimal rest between games.
9 matches in January, but given that you've been away twice between Christmas and New Year, do you see it as a good thing that your next 4 and 6 of the next 7 are at home? Because apart from anything else, you're not having to travel away as much as you have been and then as you will be at the end of the month and then into February.
Yeah, I think any home game for us is a positive. We love playing at home. Goes without saying, we've been really good at home for a long time, so we prefer to play there other than anywhere else. I think the travelling, especially during a hectic game schedule, the more you can minimise that, then that's beneficial for us. But as I say, January will be a season-defining month for us. And you look at the month as a whole, I think some great games for us, some really mouth-watering occasions. But we've got some tough challenges ahead, and certainly the start to the month needs to be a fruitful one for us.
Total Sport North East.
Matthew Raisbeck and black and white legend John Anderson.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Well, Eddie Howe knows that there are some big matches and a big few weeks ahead. A season-defining month, he called it, which I suppose is a strong statement, but one that you can't really disagree with. Especially, look, if it goes badly, then they could be out of Europe, out the FA Cup, and effectively out of the League Cup. But if it goes well, they could be nearer to where they'd like to be in the Premier League.
Well, if everything goes well, we're going to have an awful lot more games.
Yeah, which is probably what they don't want. I mean, ideally in the Champions League, they would go automatically through to the last 16 by finishing in the top 8. But the late goal in Germany that they conceded probably has, I don't know if it's prevented that. It's still possible, but it's going to be more difficult. So getting through is going to lead to a two-legged playoff tie, most likely, in the middle of next month. That's actually what Crystal Palace have got in the Conference League, because they didn't go through automatically either in that competition. But yeah, that's your reward for progress. It's more games, which is probably the last thing that they want. But they are getting some players back from injury. But of course the schedule puts extra pressure on the squad, and they'll probably lose other players, won't they? Because that's
about managing those
games,
games, isn't it? You know, it's about managing those games. It's about managing your squad, about managing players. You know, but that's what comes with success. You know, that's what comes if you want to be competing in all these competitions. You're going to get extra games. You know, there's going to be plenty of games. It looks like it probably will be 2 knockout games in the Champions League. We've got the 2-legged semi-final against Manchester City in the League Cup. got an FA Cup tie here. Thankfully, it's at home. You know, you would prefer it over here than be away from home, that's for sure. But look, when you're competing on all these fronts, you've got to play the games, and it comes with the territory, you know, and that's what the successful teams do. You know, they're able to cope with it. Thankfully, he's got a few senior players back as well. It would have been an awful lot more difficult if those senior players were still going to be out for another 2-3 weeks. It would have made things a lot more difficult for us.
It would give him the opportunity. Lewis Hall's they've been managing his fitness. He had treatment at Burnley in the second half, was nearly substituted, but he would been out of the Fulham match prior to that with a tight hamstring. So they're managing his fitness. The fact that they've got 2 fullbacks on the bench would give them the opportunity potentially to make a couple of changes, give them a breather towards the end of a game, maybe change it from the start in the Leeds or Bournemouth next week. So that's massive, isn't it? Because that's an area of the team that he hasn't been able to change. But looking at the squad depth, we're into January, the transfer window is open. It is possible that they do some business this month, although Eddie Howe had been playing down the prospect of spending big. Do you think 1 or 2 would be helpful? Maybe full-back cover and possibly somebody further up the pitch as well?
I think if you got your full-backs, you know, look at he's got Trippier back, he's got Livramento back. You know, both of them can play on the left side. There's no problem there. You know, so is a full-back, is he essential at this moment in time? If you've got everybody fit, you'd say no. You've got Botman back fit. Is a centre-back essential? If you could keep them all fit, you would probably say no. So I always think that January's not very, very difficult month, because prices go up in January as well, you know, and if teams know that you're desperate to get somebody in, it's going to cost you a little bit more. So I just think it's about what's available, what he thinks he needs, bringing people in who he feels can strengthen the squad in certain areas. That's what it's going to be all about, so we will wait and see.
The war flags display at the Gallagher end today, black, white and gold foil flags, and the rest of the ground there's lots of the individual black and white striped and check flags placed next to seats, and supporters pick them up and waving them around above their heads to greet the players, who now shake hands with each other across the halfway line. Black and white stripes, black shorts, black socks today. Nick Pope in goal, no matter the weather. Nick Pope always wears short sleeves. He's in yellow this afternoon. Crystal Palace in their home colours, red and blue stripes with white trim, blue shorts and blue socks, and the goalkeeper Henderson in luminous green. So Palace, Dean Henderson, the England international, in goal. Jefferson Lerma, who previously been midfielder but now tends to play at the back. Maxence Lacroix and the captain Mark Gay, who is expected to see out the final 6 months of his contract before leaving in the summer. He plays, we think, on the left of the back three. Nathaniel Klein, the highly rated Adam Wharton, Will Hughes and Tyreek Mitchell, the 4 across the middle. Brennan Johnson, who got 4 goals for Spurs in the first half of the season. Jeremy Pino, summer signing from Villarreal for 26 million, has made a positive impression at Crystal Palace, at either side of Jean-Philippe Mateta up front. Newcastle, Pope in goal, Miley, Chow, Cher, who is making his 250th appearance for Newcastle United, Fabian Cher, and Hall, Bruno Tonali, Joelinton, Murphy, Gordon, his 100th Premier League appearance for the club, and Wissa up top. On the bench, Ramsdale, Trippier, Botman, Barnes, Livramento, Voltemada, Willock, Alex Murphy and Ramsey. And the Palace bench, Benitez the keeper, Uche, Esse, Canvo, Sosa, Rodney, Devaney, Benamar and Drakes Thomas. Looks like they've won the toss again. He always wins the toss this season, Bruno.
Yeah, he's gone from not being able to win one to not being able to lose one. So hopefully that's a good omen.
They shoot towards the Leazes end in the first half. Newcastle, Crystal Palace to kick off. Commentary from St James's on FM on BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sport website and app, as well as the Newcastle United website and app. If you want Sunderland away at Spurs, DAB, BBC Radio Newcastle, or Freeview Channel 711, or BBC Sounds. Do you think they'll make it 2 wins in a row today? Do you back them?
Yeah, look, I think the home form's been good. You know, we've been able to win games here at St James's. You would like to think that trend will continue today and Wednesday and next Saturday and all the games, all those 6 games that we've got here in the next 7 games.
A lot of football to be played in January, and it is underway. Crystal Palace back to Dean Henderson. Newcastle United, big month, 9 games. And this is the first of those fixtures. And they clear the ball towards halfway, and it's out for a Palace throw. Nathaniel Klein standing in front of Eddie Howe. Back to Jefferson Lerma, and now to Henderson. First time swinging clearance. Fabian Schär header on. Bruno flicks forwards. Lerma intercepts, plays it against Gordon, and the ball flies out to the far side. Gay clears off Gordon, who put him under good pressure, didn't give it up, and gets applauded by Eddie Howe as Crystal Palace get a throw on the far side of the pitch in their own half in front of the east stand. Hughes forwards, Miley cushion pass inside to Tanali, who's started to carry it up the right wing, and he's won a throw off Hughes. It was good progress from Tanali. And Murphy leaves it for Miley. Throws it to Bruno, gets it back, and then back down the line to Chow. Inside to Schär. First time ball to Lewis Hall just behind halfway, gets his head up. Johnson in front of Hall on halfway. Newcastle back to Schär. Pass played out to the feet of Miley, back to Chow, forwards to Bruno, then back to Pope, right side of the Newcastle penalty area. No way through, so they have to go back. Schär to Hall, closed down by Klein, and Hall comes inside, gives it to the goalkeeper. Jeremy Pino comes short and closes him down. Pope out to Schär, now Bruno to Tanali. Oh, that's well worked. Now Joelinton plays in Gordon. Anthony Gordon gets there before Lerma, edge of the area, and now finds Wissa. Straight at Henderson. It was a great move. It just needed the finish from Wissa, who could have gone either side but hit it straight at the goalkeeper.
Yeah, great move, wasn't it, from back to front, played through the line so well. Great little pull back by Gordon into Wissa, hits it first time left foot. Fortunately for the goalkeeper, it's straight at him.
Palace forward, Schär heads on, Joelinton out to the left wing, Gordon not giving it up. Lerma just sees it out, 10 yards behind halfway. The passing there, playing their way out of a tight area, was really good in the build-up, and then because Palace had committed men forwards to put pressure on, there was space, and Newcastle moved up the pitch into it.
Yeah, played through the lines really well. I mean, from back to front, what was it, 4 passes that got the shot away.
Johnson up the line, and Fabian Schär's wanting to let that run out, and it does. Newcastle throw at left back, 0-0. Lewis Hall still with a yellow and orange ball in his hands. Bruno makes a run. Joelinton's just up the line. It's to the feet of Joelinton, out off Wharton. Another Newcastle throw. Whoa, not. The assistant referee on the near side, Simon Bennett, has given it the way of Crystal Palace, and now gets an earful from Joelinton.
Yeah, he's not going to change his mind.
Well, he must have seen a touch that not many other people saw, but he wasn't too far from the ball when it went out. Lerma 25 yards out on the right. It's a long looping throw. Chow gets up. Header doesn't really go away from goal. Share with a nod. Then Bruno and Gordon head clear. Mitchell's letting it run. Murphy puts him under pressure. He releases just in time. Lacroix with a header. Johnson back to Lacroix, edge of the area, the big centre-back. Wharton, good feet. Newcastle try to make a challenge. Wharton goes down, edge of the box. Goal kick given after
good feet. He's a good player, this kid Wharton. He's got good feet about him.
Referee telling Newcastle to wait. I wonder if they're just looking at whether there was a foul on Wharton there, but I don't think so. Play on. Nick Pope with the goal kick. 5 minutes at St James's Park. They've got 4 in the forward line here. Joelinton is there, and Pope's goal kick straight onto the head of Lacroix, who was right in the centre of it all, just behind halfway. He's got it again. Maxence Lacroix had a tough night at Arsenal just before Christmas. Own goal in the cup quarter-final, and had the crucial penalty saved in the sudden death part of the shootout. Pino, nice ball to Hughes, onto Mitchell, and his cutback looks for Johnson, keeps it alive, far side of the area. Hughes with a shot, deflects wide. Now are they going to give corner or goal kick?
Throw in.
Throw, neither. It was fired across the box, and it hit a Newcastle defender in the middle as they look for Mateta. Palace throw near the corner flag on this right-hand side. Trying to score early against Newcastle, who were almost 2-0 up at this point at Burnley the other night. Here's the throw, middle of the penalty box, a United header. Hughes back into the centre. Murphy finds Gordon. Oh, couldn't get away, couldn't release his pass, and he had runners, Wissa and Murphy, on their way to the halfway line. Up to Mateta, edge of the area, he's offside. Oh, Anthony Gordon, who had 2 on him. Ball just couldn't get it out of his feet, could he? Wouldn't settle nicely for him. If he had been able to play it, then that could have been exciting. Pope out to Hall, who miscontrols. Palace throw. And they had the one brilliant move up the pitch. A lot of the game, apart from that, 7 minutes, has been played in the Newcastle half, and another long throw. It's on its way from Jefferson Lerma. Here it comes towards the near post. Fabian Schär,
corner kick,
it behind, got up above Joelinton, took charge of the situation. So Palace with a corner on the right. Newcastle still defending, everybody back. 2 on the edge of the box for Palace. Mitchell 10 yards further back. They look for the middle of the penalty area. Joelinton header. Hughes tidies up, back to Mitchell, who goes back to the keeper. Gordon with a sprint towards Henderson. Long ball back up the pitch to the edge of the box. Lewis Hall in front of Hughes wins a useful header. Joelinton, it's all over Johnson. Palace come away with it. Johnson trying to get around Hall. It's good defending. Palace want a corner. Newcastle get a goal kick.
Yeah.
Quickly played by Pope. Chow onto Miley. Encouraged by supporters to come forwards. Inside to Chow from Lewis Miley, and across to Lewis Hall, near side. Gordon collects it. Turns on the outside, then comes back inside. Then looks for Hall again. Just overhit the pass. Found space well. But Hall unable to get onto Gordon's ball. Crystal Palace throw in their own half.
It was the right idea, wasn't it? Just got too much on the ball, Gordon.
Already accusations of time wasting against Palace. Klein with a throw to Lerma, who's smashed it across the pitch straight at Jacob Murphy. Newcastle with it back now. Tonali. Murphy trying to get onto this up the right wing. Gay lets it drop, but he's cleared it only as far as Bruno. Now Murphy is coming back from an offside position. Eddie Howe applauding his players for what they did in the lead up to that offside. Sunderland away at Spurs, still 0-0. Also at 3 o'clock, Everton, Brentford, Fulham, Liverpool. 5:30, Man City against Chelsea. If there are any goals in the other 3 o'clock matches, we'll let you know about them. Long free kick. Chow manages to get the ball away. Palace go up the left wing towards Mitchell. They've got Pino over there, and Murphy wins it back. Chow up the line. It's Hughes and Mitchell. They've just kept it in. Now it's come into the midfield area, headed on by Crystal Palace. Chow stabs it away out to the near side. Just got it clear, basically. Gordon close to pinching it from Klein, but it is played back to Lerma. Now Lacroix to Gale. Plays a short pass to Wharton. Brings it forwards on his left foot into the centre circle. Then a pass to Lerma. And he comes back to Lacroix. And Hughes, the central midfield, out on the left touchline, close to halfway. Gay forwards, but it's ahead of Pino. Chow intercepts. Miley onto Murphy. Lifts it first time straight to Wharton. They're giving it away. Mateta's then lost it. Share to Joelinton. Gordon giving him an option. Joelinton plays it square to Hall on halfway. Out to Gordon. He has a look and they slow it down, go back to Fabian Schär. There wasn't really anything on. 0-0 in the 11th minute at St James's. Chow to Miley. Murphy starts to make his run. Miley lifts it over the top. Murphy keeps it in with a high cross. Joelinton's header. Wissa tried to pull it down in the box. Palace clear. And Lewis Hall in a midfield area gets to the ball. And ball against Mateta.
How late was that? You stood watching it.
Lewis Hall played it. It hit Mateta. There was appeal for handball. Referee let it go, and then blew his whistle.
Dear oh dear, how late was that whistle?
Palace with a player down.
I think his boots come off.
Yeah. Pino it is. His gloves off as well. He's got long sleeves and gloves. Bruno's got short sleeves and gloves. Well, he's taking his gloves off now, the Newcastle captain. He's warmed up. Tenali with the free kick.
Wonder if his arms are warm.
Just ahead of the centre circle. Gordon wide left. Tenali looking towards the right side of the penalty box. It's a Palace header. Jacob Murphy into the centre of the area. Bruno heads on looking for Wissa away. Header there by Mitchell. Murphy's got it back. Tenali here. Palace have stayed set up defensively. Bruno, good ball on to Miley. Tries to turn, gets tackled. Bruno then wins it back for United. Far touchline. Tenali out to the captain. Sends over a cross. It's too deep and it's a goal kick. Still goalless between Newcastle United and Crystal Palace.
Yeah, won it back well. He's just trying to whip one, isn't he? Just gets too much on it.
Henderson told by the referee to get on with it. He's got a defender either side in the box. Newcastle have got 5 up there to put pressure on. They play it short, then get it away. Hall brings it down. Palace through Klein, have it back, and now Johnson on a run, the debutant. Chips his cross towards the near post, and it's behind.
That's poor. Thankfully.
Chow to Miley. Inside to Bruno. Back to the goalkeeper. Couple of touches. Then he finds the feet of Lewis Hall, middle of Newcastle's half, left for Joelinton. Back to Fabian Schär. Miley on the halfway line. They're on the far side now with Murphy. Back into Miley. Bruno trying to scoop it in behind for Murphy. Header from Palace, from Mitchell. Tenali wide right with Gay for company, and it's out, and it's a Crystal Palace throw. It's still deep in their half of the pitch. Brentford are 1-0 up at Everton with a goal from Igor Thiago, the striker. Everton 0, Brentford 1. Here, Newcastle United 0, Crystal Palace 0 on BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sport website and app. And there's a bit of football around the centre circle from the visitors. Hall now chases a ball which he lets run. And Newcastle throw on the near side. Hall at left back with it. Joelinton short on his thigh. Up the line, out off Klein, another throw. How would you describe the way they've started the match, Ando?
Started it sharp, didn't they? It's pretty even at the moment. Both sides really feeling each other out.
Decent ball.
Chance of a break here, though.
Yeah, back by Joelinton to Chow, quickly on forwards to Miley, out to Murphy, and Miley carries on his run. Murphy's lost it. Dispossessed by Pino. Miley's won it back. Palace win it back. Is that a trip from Miley? No, referee says it was a dive from Jeremy Pino. Newcastle play on. Tenali for Gordon. Gets away, does well. Gets it again, Anthony Gordon, on to Murphy. Chance to deliver. Wins a corner kick. Their first of the afternoon.
He should book him if he thinks he's dived. No good having a word with him, book him.
Had a look at it, the referee, and then told him, Jeremy Pino, to get up. And Newcastle were then able to attack. It's led to this corner. Lewis Hall is across to take it. Murphy and Miley are on the far side if they do something short. Tenali edge of the area. Everybody committed forwards, though. Players run from the back post to the near post. Hall sends it in deep. Henderson at full stretch gets his palm to it. Wisser keeps it in. Tenali lifts it back in. Henderson, straight to Hall, back into the middle. Good save. Fabian Schär with a header. Dean Henderson, who managed to claw away 2 crosses, then makes a save, and it's behind for another corner on the right.
Well, he needed to make that save because the initial cross he should have caught. Decides to punch it, and it's a poor punch.
Again, players start back post, run front post, and the corner goes back post. Let's see what they do from this one. Hall still got the options to go short. Sends it in. The players have stayed at the back stick. Palace win the header, though. It was Klein in between 2 Newcastle players. Wisser, left wing, has kept it in and rolled it back to Tenali next to the centre circle. He chips it into the middle, but Henderson claims.
Poor ball.
Quick ball from Henderson. Tenali back there with Mateta. Well played by Tenali. Oh, that's top class. And this is a good run as well, up to halfway through the middle. Palace couldn't stop him. He didn't have much on to play it to. He now gets it back from Chow, finds Bruno in behind. Johan Wisser is in, 1-on-1. Oh, he's played it to Gordon, who scores. Anthony Gordon has given Newcastle the lead in the 19th minute, set up by Johan Wisser unselfishly when he could have gone for goal himself. But you have to credit Sandro Tenali, as some of his teammates in black and white are doing, for the massive role he played in that, stopping a counter-attack, getting them up the pitch. And then Wisser, 1-on-1, but played it to his left for Gordon, who managed just to cut across it and put it into the net. And Newcastle United lead Crystal Palace by a goal to 0.
Well, they just parted like the Red Sea, didn't they? Gordon's not offside. Wisser's not offside, but they'll check it anyway, won't they? That's what we're waiting on.
Gordon was behind Wisser when he played it. and then ran onto it. It sent him wide, and it was perhaps
wasn't the cleanest contact.
No,
was it?
It looked like a slightly awkward one because he then had to sort of cut across it.
Hey, come on, referee!
And a little bit off balance. Ball bounced and bobbled into the net.
Dear, oh dear.
It looks like Gordon was behind Wissa when he played it.
I think they're checking Wissa
from the initial pass. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, they are looking at Wissa, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it's whether Wissa is offside, not Gordon. It's going to be disallowed, isn't it? It's offside, doesn't count. Johan Wissa offside in the build-up. So nothing to do with the pass or Gordon. And, well, it had been a while, almost a year since his last Premier League goal from open play. And although he got one there, it's been taken off him and taken away from Newcastle. It remains 0-0. And Crystal Palace are trying to take the free kick from the wrong position, say Newcastle. And Bruno and Tonali were furious. The referee's got his hands on Bruno, and Palace are allowed to do exactly what they want to do with it.
Where's he taking his free kick from, by the way?
They've moved it again, they've moved it forwards.
I mean, the referee hasn't even got a clue where that...
He's letting Palace referee the game themselves. Long ball forwards, Klein against Hall. Now Wharton into the middle, Mateto, great first touch, right side of the area, behind off Cher. The boos are for the referee.
Wasn't the referee that disallowed it?
No, but I think for the free kick, it's probably the frustration of the goal being chalked off, and then
yeah, but the referee should know where the original free kick should be taken from. I mean, it's about 25 yards difference.
Yeah, well, I thought so as well. Here's the corner anyway, left-footed, deep. Goal kick. 2 Palace players went up. You get yourself into the lead with what was a well-worked goal. Obviously it was offside. Wissa was ahead of the last defender when the ball was played, so it doesn't count. A disappointment, obviously, and now they have to find a way through again. They'll try and find a way forwards here. Lewis Hall tackled edge of the area, his own penalty area. Wharton, a through ball for Pino. Chow across, corner kick.
Poor touch, wasn't it, thankfully?
Malik Chow digging Newcastle out of a hole there. Struggled to get their way up the pitch. – 23rd minute. Another corner kick that they have to defend. Wharton left-footed from the right. He's got 2 arms in the air. Must mean something to the Palace players. Here it comes, middle of the 6-yard box, couple of headers. Joelinton clears. Gordon after it at full pelt. Mitchell back to Henderson, and they push up towards halfway. Henderson out to the left wing. It's a bouncing ball that's headed on. Gay brings it down, back to Wharton. Chips it across to Lerma on his chest. Gordon dispossesses him. Joelinton comes away with it. On to Gordon, back to Hall. And now Gordon again. And Joelinton, short passes on this near side. Joelinton, good burst. Used it well. Tonali on the diagonal. Gay struggling. Jacob Murphy can't quite get there. Gay recovered. It bounced. He was watching it go over his head. Bounced away, but then managed to nod it back to the keeper, Mark Gay.
Good awareness of people around him, wasn't it? Knew exactly where Murphy was.
Lacroix, long ball. Mateta got up, missed it completely. Chow lifts it up. Here's Miley, he's got 2 on him. Plays it out to the wing to Murphy. His ball hits a Crystal Palace player, then comes to Mateta, and out of play on the near side from Mateta. Hall, quick throw to Joe Linton, closed down by Wharton, backs in to him and then passes it to Hall. Got nowhere to go, Lewis Hall. They get another throw. Hall to Joe Linton, back again, has to clear it with his right across the penalty box. It's actually a pretty decent ball for Miley, and Miley with his long strides on the way up to the halfway line. Now Bruno, Hall's available. If Bruno plays it into his path, he does, and it's out of play from Lewis Hall.
Not happening for him today, is it?
He's had 3 very strong games. Couple of misplaced balls so far. 0-0 between Newcastle and Crystal Palace, but a goal ruled out for United after a VAR check. And it's the visitors in possession on halfway. Gay to Hughes, back inside to Gay. Wharton left side of central midfield. Gay back to Lacroix on the halfway line, forwards to Johnson, intercepted by Hall, that's good, and Gordon for Hall again, great move. Gordon taken out off the ball as Hall carries on the attack. Wissa and Bruno in the middle, cross is blocked. It is a throw, and referee would like a word with Jefferson Lerma, and it's just a word.
Johnson's carried off on where he left off in both the Spurs appearances here.
You're not impressed? Hall with a throw to Gordon. They get it back in play. Fabian shares across for some words with Jason Tyndall. The ball's played to Malik Chow on halfway right side. He comes forwards, passes it to Tonali, gets it back. Share to Hall. And Fabian Scher again, floated out to the right boot of Lewis Miley with typical accuracy from Fabian Scher. Miley comes in off the touchline, then goes back out to Bruno, wide to Murphy. Worked it nicely, Murphy gets a throw after the challenge came in from Mitchell. About 30 yards from the Crystal Palace goal. Here on BBC Radio Newcastle, where it's still goalless. Also goalless, Tottenham Hotspur against Sunderland. That commentary is on DAB, Freeview Channel 711 and BBC Sounds if you're looking for the Sunderland match. Newcastle offside there against Murphy from the throw after it was put back in from the second ball, second pass. 28th minute. Dean Henderson leaves his box, goes over to the far touchline to...
It's not a great deal happened, is there?
Well, they've had 2 really good breaks. That last one with Gordon and Hall was nice as well. That have led to 2 efforts. The Wissa shot saved, and then the disallowed goal. Also the Scher header, which Henderson put behind for a corner. Here's Bruno to Tonali. They win it back from Palace on the far side. Murphy just ahead of Tonali with a return ball. Now Lewis Hall steps up to intercept, and Hall driving forwards. He's run into Lerma, and Lerma is down, rolling around, and a decision has gone against Newcastle. And the referee is telling players to get away, and he wants Lewis Hall one-on-one here for a chat and possibly a yellow card. It's one that we'd need to see again. Lerma's back up just about. Don't think he needs any treatment. That might be a help to Lewis Hall. What do you think there was in that? Where did he catch him? If
it's a yellow card.
Was it?
He's not giving them a card. He's just giving them a talk on it.
I think it was. I mean, there'll be no intent from
this is
Hall,
where the inconsistency is. Well, you know, he's caught him on the ankle. The studs are there, caught him on the ankle, but you just never know nowadays, though, do you?
Well, the phrase you use is natural football contact. Is that what that is?
Well, he's just overrun the ball. He's trying to win it back. He's stretching.
Chow with the header away. Mateta behind him, edge of the area. Tonali out to Hall. It's a heavy first touch. Palace win it. Tonali gets it back for Hall, and now Joelinton for Wissa. Helped on. Oh, what a lovely flick on from Wissa to Gordon. Here's Anthony Gordon into the middle. Oh, it's hit Bruno off a defender onto Bruno, and Palace trying to come away. Not the best ball by Johnson.
Hey, honestly,
put his teammates under trouble there, and Newcastle get it back on halfway, and they get a throw now on the far side. Great flick and spin from Wissa in that piece of play. Tonali's throw. Miley here, it's behind Cher, but there's no pressure. I suppose the referee's been consistent within the match, because he didn't boot Lerma when he took Gordon out. Different type of offence. Had a talking to, and same with Hall. Here's Bruno, space for Murphy. First time cross. Lacroix's header, and Mateta using his considerable size and strength to hold onto the ball, and then he's won a free kick. I think handball against Joelinton. Newcastle 0, Crystal Palace 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1, Sunderland 0. Ben Davies the goal scorer. Henderson just at the front of the penalty box, 5 yards or so ahead of the area, plays it short, square to Lacroix. Klein tried to roll it up the line for Johnson, it's gone out. Johnson's kicked the ball away, referee tells him off.
Probably the best ball he's played all day.
Points to, it says keep your head, don't do anything silly. John Brooks in charge of the match, whistles, and Lewis Hall gets on with the game, throws it to Fabian Cher, then straight up the line back to Hall, and inside to Nick Pope. 0-0, 32 minutes. Gordon making a run in off the left wing. Cher didn't play it. Gordon wanted it quickly. Here's Hall out off Johnson. Eddie Howe retrieves it for Lewis Hall. Tonali comes square, gets it. It straight back to Hall, who now comes forwards onto Gordon, back to Hall. No route up the line, has to come inside. Joelinton back to Cher. Middle of the United half, Cher fires it up to Miley, and now Murphy. They're in the Palace half. Murphy against the shins of a defender. He's got it back. Chow on the halfway line, and Cher finding Hall, who finds Gordon, comes inside, but Palace are able to win it back through Lerma. Then Johnson with a drag back, and he's lost possession and fouled Anthony Gordon, and there's a yellow card for the Crystal Palace new boy, the record signing, the £35 million man. Possibilities here. Yohan Wissa, corner kick. Wissa was close to the right corner of the 6-yard box. Defender with him. Maybe not the angle or the space for a shot, but they've got a corner out of it on the far side.
Yeah, Miley does well again down that right side. Ball played in behind. Good run, Wissa.
Timed it perfectly as well. He was onside.
Yeah, he was onside. He was well onside
on that occasion. Still goalless, but a corner kick could give them the chance to go into the lead. And rather than stay back post, the group of players, 5 of them, go to the back of the box, now make their move. Header from Bruno onto the roof of the net, but the referee stopped it. And now, did he blow the whistle before the corner was taken? Chow and Hughes.
Well, he must have done.
I was following the ball, and then I saw the referee go into the
this
box.
Corner situation's becoming a joke.
I mean, Newcastle had a player Well, Hughes collided with a Newcastle player.
Yeah,
but because
he had his arms wrapped around Chow.
They're going to take the corner again. Miley looking for Bruno, near post, away as far as Hall, edge of the area. Lewis Hall could hit it, does hit it! Henderson repels the effort, still in the penalty box, and Palace get it clear.
Good hit, wasn't it?
Hall cut inside away from his man, really firmly struck, but well saved. Now Pope to Hall, on by Gordon, Joelinton with a header across midfield. They've got it with Cher, and now Hall on halfway. Nothing on for Lewis Hall. Back to Nick Pope, 42 minutes, 0-0. Pope through the middle, Gay first to that. Pino's header, Cher brings it down to the floor, and then turn, and then Bruno trying to come away, so too is Cher. Palace win it back, and then Johnson overhits the through ball towards Pino. Pope picks it up, quickly rolls it out into the path of Hall. Lots of space for Lewis Hall up to halfway. Plays a 1-2 with Tanali near to the halfway line. Inside to Cher. In behind, Joelinton, no flag, Joelinton, he scores! Now the flag goes up. Joelinton brought it down well, found the bottom corner past Henderson, the bottom right corner of the goal, but the assistant Eddie Smart on the far side put his flag up belatedly, and it is the correct decision.
The offside. Good finish, mate.
Very well taken.
Yeah.
So that's twice the ball's been in the net, and neither goal has counted. First time Wisser offside in the build-up before he squared for Gordon, and there's Joelinton found. Straight ball through the middle.
Again.
And well finished, but a clear offside. Hughes for Palace over the head of Tanali, and it would have been a worldie. Lifted it over Tanali and then hit it on the volley as it dropped. Missed the goal.
Still rising.
As we head towards half-time, Ando, how do you feel the performance has developed across the game? Have they been more dominant? Have they looked more,
not really,
more likely to?
They haven't been dominant in the game. It's been pretty even, the game. Yes, we've had the ball in the back of the net twice, but hasn't been a great deal in the game.
Joelinton for Bruno. Free kick given for Newcastle in the centre circle. Tanali to Hall, quickly taken. Back to Cher. Palace closing off space pretty well when Lewis Hall was on it there. It's Miley for Bruno. Heavy touch. Oh, short ball, but Chow just gets it away. I think Wisser's offside, so he doesn't challenge for it. Now Tanali to Murphy. Palace get it back. Bruno and Joelinton dispossess Wharton, who slides in and shows great desire to win it back, and up the right wing for Brennan Johnson. Closed down by Hall. Johnson in the penalty area. Mateta wide, but off a deflection. Corner on the far side.
Yeah, it wasn't the cleanest strike, was it? Wharton's gone down again. Needs to put shin pads on, that kid.
Socks are down by his ankles. Adam Wharton, he must have the tiniest shin pads on.
I don't think he's got any on, that's the thing.
Will Hughes is like that as well, the other midfielder, but his socks are almost at his calf muscle, whereas Wharton's are like ankle socks. 0-0, and there will be a minimum of 5 additional minutes at St James's Park. In swinging corner, Miley heads away, back out for another corner on that far side. Crystal Palace's left. Defending the goal at the Gallagher end, Newcastle. And everybody back. In it comes again, towards the near post, get headed over by Gay, who got up. Big leap, big header, but too much on it. Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall told by fourth official Thomas Bramall not to stand together at the side of the pitch, so they come back to the bench.
It's taken 45 minutes.
It's an absolutely stupid rule.
Oh, it
isn't
is.
it?
It's a crazy rule.
There's a big debate, isn't there, about Mikel Arteta in particular standing pretty much on the pitch for Arsenal or outside the technical area and sometimes getting in the way of players who want to go up the line. But nothing seems to be done about that. A rule introduced a couple of years ago, only one coach or manager, one member of staff can stand at the front of the technical area. 0-0, Bruno to Miley on the outside, stepping into the Palace half. Could they get themselves in front with a goal that counts before the whistle? Tonali from Miley's pass, out to Murphy, and Miley back to Chow, on to Bruno. He's got Hughes at his back, Hall square, made himself available for the ball, up to Gordon, lets it run, looks for Wissa. Oh, it's blocked by the defender. Could it be handball? No, says the referee. Some appeals, but not many. And Cher does well on halfway to find Chow. On for Gordon, Wissa can't get after it. Henderson covers it and now picks it up in the box. I think Wissa had just moved inside a bit too far for Gordon's ball, which was more up the inside left channel. Henderson from the edge of the box kicks out of his hands. It's dropping in the Newcastle half. Joe Linton header forward. It bounces once. Gay lifts it back up to the Palace forward line. Lewis Hall away. Gordon. It's not a bad header, but Wissa couldn't quite get there. Palace keep possession. And out it comes to Nathaniel Klein, 34 years of age now. Klein having a run in the team with Daniel Munoz injured. Munoz being one of Palace's best players.
Yeah, he is a good player.
A real live wire, a threat up and down the right side. Now the referee's decided that throw-ins have to be taken from the correct spot. So Klein's moved back a few yards, and then Wharton, it ran under his foot, but Newcastle couldn't win it back. They may well have fouled Wharton there near the edge of the area, but the referee's allowed play to continue. Jacob Murphy, good skill, and a forward run from Murphy. Lacroix intercepts, then Bruno almost wins it back from Lacroix on halfway. Palace find Wharton, and now Hughes. A minute to go in first half added on time. Here's Pino through for Hughes, who pushes
put it wide.
Will Hughes rolled in left side of the box, rolled it just wide of Nick Pope's left-hand post.
What a
Palace
chance.
almost in front in added on time.
What a chance. Just toe pokes it wide, doesn't he?
Drifted into space in the box. A run from midfield.
Big chance. Their best chance of the game.
Ball is in play. There's about 30 seconds remaining in the first half if the referee just plays the 5. One last chance. Fabian Cher cut out by Klein. Looking for Gordon. Hall with it. Now 15 seconds of the 5 to play. Cher, this is a long ball forwards, too high for Murphy. Gay chests it, clears it. Miley takes control, goes on the outside, comes into the centre to Tonali. There's the half-time whistle on BBC Radio Newcastle. 0-0 at St James's Park. John Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a game that's finally balanced, isn't it? There's been good and there's been bad, hasn't it? With obviously 2 goals disallowed. First one was a tight offside. Second one was well offside. Hughes has had a chance right at the death for Palace, where he's toe poked wide, but hasn't been really too many clear-cut chances in the game for either side.
We will get all the other scores from Colin White in the studio soon. Sunderland still playing, we assume, at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 1-0 to Spurs. That was the last score update that we had. We've not had another one since, so we assume it's still the same. We'll discuss both matches in our post-match phone-in between 5 and 6. It's half-time now in North London. Spurs 1, Sunderland 0. That match on DAB and Freeview Channel 711 and BBC Sounds here on FM and the BBC Sport website and app. Commentary from St James's Park. Ball in the net twice. Wissa offside, not by a lot, but offside in the build-up when he squared it to Gordon. And the other one, Joe Linton, was well, there was daylight there when he was played in.
Yeah, it was a good finish. Finished it well. Yeah. Good run in behind, but just went a fraction too early. Saying that he finished it well, but as I say, there hasn't been too many clear-cut chances in the game for either side.
A shame about the Gordon goal. It's been a long time for him with an open play goal in the Premier League, and at that point it would have given them a nice platform, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, a goal at that time gives you a platform to go on and build, but we, look, VAR always gets involved. They look, they wait. It was tight, but with it just strayed that fraction. There wasn't a great deal in it, but they decided he was offside.
At the other end, the big chance was Will Hughes for Palace right at the end. They've not had a lot.
Huge chance. Great little ball played through to him. And for whatever reason, he's just toe poked it wide, but their best opportunity of the half.
A warning sign for Newcastle at the end of the first half, then Will Hughes just wide after 2 disallowed goals for offside. Second half commentary to come from St James's Park. It's Newcastle United 0, Crystal Palace 0.
On BBC iPlayer,
this game is already trying to drive a wedge between people.
nothing is predictable.
Being under fire, it is tempering you, and tempered steel is tough.
You just looked scared. And it's time for secrets to be revealed.
My mind is just all over the place.
Who on earth is this secret traitor?
This is it. Come in.
The Traitors continues Wednesday night at 8 on BBC One and iPlayer.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Half-time at both St James's Park and the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium then. Just one goal across the two. It's Newcastle 0, Crystal Palace 0, although Newcastle have had 2 efforts disallowed, and Sunderland are a goal down. Ben Davies poking it in from inside the 6-yard box after half an hour. So Newcastle 0, Crystal Palace 0, Spurs 1, Sunderland 0. We will be back with our respective commentary teams in about 10 minutes time for full coverage of the second half. Elsewhere then today, it is a Sunday, but there's so many games it feels like a Saturday. One early Premier League game that has finished, and it finished Leeds 1, Manchester United 1. Brendan Aronson for Leeds after 62 minutes, but then 3 minutes later Mateusz Cunha equalised for Manchester United, and it finished 1 apiece. Our 2 games are 2 of 4 that kicked off at 3 o'clock. Brentford are 1-0 up at Everton thanks to Igor Thiago after 11 minutes, and Fulham lead Liverpool 1-0. Harry Wilson after 17 minutes in that one. The 5:30 kick-off is Manchester City against Chelsea.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into the Championship in the early games, or one of them, Coventry, the leaders, dropped points again, beaten 3-2 at Birmingham. Josh Eccles and Ellis Sims have scored for Coventry, but they were 1-0 and then 2-1 and then 3-2 down after Birmingham scored 3. Brandon Thomas-Asante sent off for Coventry in the final minute as well. The other early game saw Queen's Park Rangers beat the bottom side Sheffield Wednesday by 3-0. A couple of games, 3 games in the end, called off in the Championship. Portsmouth against Ipswich, Hull against Watford, and Sheffield United against Oxford United. But those that have gone ahead, the half-time scores: Blackburn 1, Charlton 2. Kelman with 2 for Charlton, one of them a penalty. Preston lead 1-0 away at Bristol City. It's at Derby County 1, Wrexham 1. Sam Smith for Wrexham, then Ben Brereton equalising for Derby. Middlesbrough, who could close the gap on between themselves and Coventry, could go second, are drawing 0-0 at home to Southampton at half-time. Millwall through Ivanovic leads Swansea City by 1-0, and there are no goals between Norwich City and Stoke City.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
4 games postponed in League One. Doncaster against Luton, Port Vale against Barnsley, Rotherham against Mansfield, and Stevenage against Leyton Orient. The 2 early games that went ahead, Bolton and Northampton finished goalless, but there were 7 goals between Lincoln and Peterborough, and the leaders beating Peterborough by 5 goals to do. A couple in there at the very end of each half from Tendai Deriqua. In the half-time scores, Blackpool 0, Bradford City 1. Cardiff through Callum Chambers lead Wigan by 1-0. Huddersfield are 2-1 up on Wrexham. Brendan Galloway, formerly of Sunderland, has given Plymouth a 1-0 half-time lead over Burton Albion. It's goalless between Reading and Stockport County, and Wycombe Wanderers are 1-0 up on AFC Wimbledon. In League 2, it is much easier to tell you the games that have gone ahead than those that haven't, because There are no 3 o'clock games happening. The only 2 matches that survived the weather in League 2 have both finished because they were both early kickoffs. So Cheltenham beat Crawley by 3-0, and there was a 2-2 draw between MK Dons and Chesterfield. Chesterfield stealing a point in stoppage time. A Will Grigg 94th minute equaliser.
On BBC iPlayer, it was a world of privilege for all of them. But everyone was hiding something. It's like a secret messaging app.
For like photos.
Someone is putting them online.
Wild Cherry.
Don't you dare tell me how to parent my child.
I'm trying to protect her.
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Newcastle United 0, Crystal Palace 0, and Spurs 1, Sunderland 0. Back with both of those commentary teams in around about 5 minutes' time. But the weekend started, as far as North East Sport is concerned, with a terrific result on Friday night. Newcastle Red Bulls recording their first league victory for more than a year. It would have been their 20th defeat in a row. They'd lost 19 on the bounce, but they beat Gloucester, the second bottom team in the league table, by 25 points to 19 at Kingston Park. George McGuigan, Tom Christie and Simon Benitez Cruz with their tries. They were 20 points clear with 20 minutes to go, and then Gloucester got a couple towards the end to make it a little bit tighter than it perhaps should have been. But it is nonetheless a terrific victory for Newcastle Red Bulls. Here is their head coach Alan Dickens, who spoke to our rugby union commentator Dean Gray afterwards.
It's been a long while coming, Alan. I think 399 days, 22 Prem games, but it's arrived. You must be absolutely delighted.
I am. I haven't been counting though, but thanks for that. Look, I think the performance from the players was fantastic tonight. We got off to a really good start. Credit to Gloucester. They came back at us midway through the second half, and look, they had the momentum. One of the pleasing things was we made the changes. The replacements came on, and that probably the defensive display that they put in was fantastic, and we kept them out. So lots and lots of positives. So pleased with Oscar Usher going up with the line out at the end and nicking the ball on their throw. So really, really pleased for the players.
For the 8,375 people came down and watched the game. You didn't make it an easy watch at times, it must be said, after leading relatively comfortably at half-time at 15-5, I think it was half-time, wasn't it? And then 25-10 at one point. It was really nip and tuck at the end. 25-19 final score with some heroic defending pretty much to keep Gloucester out and nick the game.
We spoke earlier in the week. Gloucester have got a good attacking game. They've scored a lot of tries, they've got bonus points through scoring tries, so we knew what they would come strong at some point in the game. And as I said, midway through the second half, they went wide. That put us under a lot of pressure. Certainly tired out our front five. And as I say, when we made those changes, we were a little bit more secure, and we got the rewards in D.
I got to see Christian Wade in his Prem debut, because he doesn't look like he's lost any of that hunger, that desire, nor pace for that matter.
He's certainly a player that is really, really good and pleasing to see watching in full flow. He's a great lad.
Slight disappointment, a tinge of disappointment. You didn't get the fourth try to get the extra point?
God, you're tough, you are, aren't you? No, look, we did. There were certainly opportunities in that second half that we were 5 to 10 metres out. They turned us over. Like, equally, you could be saying the same. It was heroic defence from themselves, and it stopped us probably taking the game away from them. But as you say, it's an area that we'll look at. Certainly, we probably should have got the 4 tries, but we'll take the win tonight.
We just heard the Bladen Racers echoing here in the media room from down below. You sing that song, a traditional Geordie song, every time there's a win. We haven't heard it often enough recently. Is this the springboard that you needed to start a kick on for the rest of the season?
Well, we've got a new tradition, and Smithy leads that, so it's going to continue. But we've sung it a few times this year. Obviously, not necessarily in the Prem. We've had some wins in the Prem Cup and also Europe, but it's good to sing it.
I saw Smithy on social media leading the charge, so presumably that will become a regular feature, and he might do an a cappella version for us later on in the media room. You never know. But Perpignan next week, Alan, so change back at the European Challenge Cup. I think pretty much if you get anything out of that game, you're through into the last 16, the round of 16.
Look, as you say, we'll look at that on probably Sunday with the coaches, deliver the message to the players on on Monday. But as you said, I think we get a win. That's certainly the focus, and let's qualify for the knockout stages.
That is Alan Dickens, the Newcastle Red Bulls head coach there, speaking to our rugby union commentator Dean Gray. I know full well that Smithy, the press officer, has no intention of leading the singing from now on. He does not want it to be a regular feature, but it might have to be. It might have to be now. From rugby union to basketball, briefly, Newcastle Eagles men, the trophy holders, are in a semi-final second leg this evening. They're away at Cheshire Phoenix, and they take an 11-point lead into that second leg. They beat Cheshire Phoenix by 100 points to 89 on Friday night. A 5:30 tip-off for that second leg. England's cricketers made a promising start to the fifth and final Ashes test against Australia before play was curtailed by a combination of bad light and rain in Sydney. They were 57 for 3 at one stage, but Joe Root and Harry Brook both made half centuries. They're both unbeaten still as well. Root on 72, Brook on 78. So 211 for 3 is what England are. Play will start half an hour early for the remaining 4 days of the test match to make up for the lost time. So day 2 gets underway at 11 o'clock this evening, our time. Right then, time to head back to our respective football commentaries. It's goalless between Newcastle and Crystal Palace at St James's Park. If you want to listen to that one, Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson are on FM and the BBC Sport website and app. Sunderland, though, are a goal down at Spurs. Ben Davis with that one. If you want to listen to Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, they are on DAB, Freeview and BBC Sounds.
Total Sport North East.
Matthew Raisbeck and black and white legend John Anderson.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Thanks very much, Colin. Second half on the way from St James's. Crystal Palace goalkeeper Dean Henderson, the first player out for the second 45, and Newcastle substitutes are on the pitch. They've been doing their half-time warm-up, just waiting for the rest of the Palace outfield players and all of Newcastle's, and then we'll be ready to go for the second half. They had 2 disallowed goals in the first period. Wissa offside in the build-up when he was played through and squared for Gordon, who scored. Wissa not offside by much. It was shoulder really that was ahead of the last defender when looking at the semi-automated offside technology graphics. It was tight. The second one, bit of an easier, clearer decision, actually given offside on the field by the assistant. Joe Linton from a through ball straight through the middle, finished well into the bottom corner, but he had gone too early. He was offside. And Palace with a big chance at the end of the half from Will Hughes, who stabbed the ball just wide of the post at the Gallagher end. They were probably the biggest moments. Newcastle had a header from Fabian Schär saved and pushed behind. Lewis Hall had one that was beaten out by Henderson. Not too many big chances in total and not much more beyond that. The away team are back out. They already had to make a change with Jefferson Lerma going off with an injury following a collision with Malik Chow, who was okay to continue. Lerma replaced by JD Cambo for Crystal Palace in the first half. So Newcastle, the 11 that started, we expect to be the 11 that returns for the second half, but we'll find out in a moment. They are on their way back to the pitch. Palace, no further changes by the looks of things. Henderson, Cambo, Lacroix, Gay, Klein, Wharton, Hughes, Mitchell, Johnson, Pino and Mateta. Here they are, Newcastle United. During the half-time break, a fan is brought onto the pitch and they put goalposts at the Leazer's end, and then they put, I think, just some tarpaulin across the front with a hole cut out, and you have to shoot from halfway. If you get the ball in through the gap, you win a trip to Las Vegas. And the lad who was playing the game, he had skin-tight, skinny jeans on. Didn't look like they're going to give him the sort of the movement that he needed. First time, stepped up, got it straight through the gap. He's on a holiday to Las Vegas, so
very nice.
Yeah, not bad at all. Well done to him at half-time. Lots of ex-Newcastle players here today, including Mike Williamson, Rob Elliott, who's now back in charge of Gateshead in the National League, trying to keep them up from bottom of the table. Mick Quinn is here. Franz Carr is here in the hospitality boxes.
Dear oh dear, they've all come out.
Yeah. And John Anderson, as usual, here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Second half is underway. United shooting to the right, to the Gallagher end. No changes. Pope in goal. Miley, Chow, Cher, Hall, Bruno, Tonali, Joelinton, Murphy, Gordon and Wissa. Today the squad boosted by the return to the bench of Livramento, Botman and Trippier. Back to Pope from Chow, edge of his penalty area, long ball forwards, free header for Gay, he nods it out to Mitchell, back to Gay, on towards Mateta. He's a big boy at 6'4", challenges for it in the air with Chow. Palace have got it on the left wing, back inside to Gay, pulled back by Tonali, but he's caught Sandro Tonali in the face seemingly while under pressure from the Italian. The whistle's gone and it's a Newcastle free kick. Referee having a quick word, a quiet word with Mateta, who taps the hand of Tonali. Is free kick fair enough, or hang on, here's Gordon, long ball towards Wissa. Henderson leaves his box on the far side. That's great goalkeeping. Sent it back.
Hell of a clearance.
It's gone into the Newcastle box pretty much. The clearance, Cher on the 18-yard line with it, 0-0. Yeah, Mateta on Tonali, anything in that at all?
No.
Gordon to Joelinton, near to the halfway line, back to Hall. And Cher through the middle. Gay steps across. He's done well there, but he's played it straight to Tonali. Tackled by Wharton, though. Tonali putting pressure on. Newcastle trying to stop Palace getting away. Up the line from Klein. But out off Gordon.
They play very square, the three centre-backs. If they don't get that right, I mean, we've seen with the first goal that was disallowed, they're so square, they're so open.
Throw on halfway. Klein tried to find Mateta. Hall came from nowhere to head it forwards. Tonali adjudged to have fouled Hughes next to the centre circle, no complaints. And Palace setting up for a free kick that they're seemingly going to send forwards, because the centre-backs have all made their way up the pitch towards the penalty box. Free kick is right at the front of the centre circle, and it's Mitchell who's next to it. He's going to leave it for a teammate, not after he gets a yellow card for time wasting. It's been a clear part of their plan today to slow things down as much as possible. They're not the only team that does it. The referee taking some action against it there. Jeremy Pino with the free kick. And it's a diagonal one towards Cambo. A couple of Newcastle headers, then a Tonali clearance. Mitchell plants a header on it. Joelinton in front of Chow, away. Wharton straight to Tonali, and then out to Murphy. Bruno on his chest, on to Murphy again. Not much ahead. Wissa. Murphy did his best to try and find him. It's cut out by Hughes. Palace had lots of bodies back quickly, and Wissa was isolated. Then Murphy stops Hughes' clearance go up the pitch, and Palace with a throw. 5 minutes gone in the second half. Fabian Cher, first time ball, up straight to a red and blue shirt. Fans frustrated at that one. Gay back to Henderson. Cher heads on. Klein on his chest. Palace back to Camvo, and now to the goalkeeper. Another big kick from Henderson. That's beyond Cher, flicked on by Mateta. Johnson carries it towards the corner. Then his cross, looking for Mateta, plucked out of the sky by Pope, with Mateta right on him. 6 yards out, maybe closer to the goal. Tonali through the middle for Bruno. Wissa might have run offside. Bruno tries to find him belatedly. It's headed away by Palace. Then Pino slips near halfway, can't keep the attack alive. Hall brought it forwards. Tonali with a misplaced pass towards Hall, and Crystal Palace get it back. Both teams making mistakes. There's Brennan Johnson with another. Malik Chow makes an interception. Tonali to Hall, back to Cher, edge of the area, just trying to find some space and give themselves the opportunity to get some possession, to move it around. Gordon, Tonali making a forward run from midfield up the left wing, and he's come away with the ball. Sandro Tonali heads for the goal line, wins a corner. Palace, Lacroix. The reason I stopped was because I thought the game was going to stop. Tonali on Lacroix out on the far side.
I tell you what, for such a big fella, Lacroix, he gets pushed around.
Tonali
gets the ball first. He stands on the ball. He just actually stands on the ball. It's not a free kick.
Yeah, fair play to the referee, John Brooks there. I mean, Tonali put his hand out on him, but there was barely any touch based on what we've just seen. Again, they're making a change, Crystal Palace. Nathaniel Klein has gone off, and on has come Justin Devaney, a forward player, so it might be a change of system. It's a Newcastle corner, and it's Lewis Miley who takes it. Henderson punches. He was, well, pretty much underneath the crossbar there, and Johan Wissa was backing in. They've embraced each other as they pick themselves up, and it's another corner, but this time on the near side, the right for United. 52 minutes on the clock. Klein looks like he's injured, limping up the near touchline, having made his way around the pitch. Everybody back for Palace. Murphy and Tonali near to the edge of the area. Hall sticks the corner in, it's headed away, or communication breakdown. They've all left it for each other. And there's a ball inside from Pino to Johnson. Miley, great challenge, and Wissa's come back to help. Great challenge in the sense it was vital. Wissa's then been tackled. Lewis Hall's won it back. That's a good run from Hall to Murphy. The problem with Wissa getting back is that he's not up there at centre forward. Murphy has to come back to Miley. Chow across halfway to Tonali. Newcastle United 0, Crystal Palace 0, but Bruno with a ball for Gordon. He's not going to get there. Up the line and out. No, yes, Bruno let it run eventually, then picked it up and took a quick throw. Far side, 40 yards from goal. Been some sloppiness, hasn't there, in the second half, and
yeah, it's been sloppy from both sides, hasn't it?
Here's Miley, takes it back with his first touch, then comes up the line to Murphy, back inside to Lewis Miley. He's come away with it, found Tonali, intercepted by Gay. Johnson lost it again. He's had a nightmare. Joe Linton on to Gordon, Wissa in the middle. Gordon still tackled, he's got it back, cuts inside, corner. Oh no, goal kick. A given goal kick, looked like he won a corner. Wharton must have played it off Gordon and behind. Crystal Palace goal kick. That was promising, but it led to nothing.
Johnson's had a, as you said, he's had a mare.
Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall on the bench. Graham Jones calling the instructions from the touchline. Here it is with Henderson, goal kick. Following that, Wharton defending. Here's Johnson. Oh, he's lifted it around Cher. Pino in the middle. Miley across. Great defending, great positioning and covering. Gordon looking for the ball. Cambo has it. And it's back to Gay. That was nearly classic commentator's curse then, wasn't it? Brennan Johnson, after he got away. Here's a ball in behind from Pino. Mitchell plays it against Murphy. Murphy wins it properly now, and Miley to Bruno. Tonali from Bruno's pass. Challenge from Gay. Oh, free kick given. Mark Gay is going to get a yellow card here. Oliver Glasner, the Palace manager, can't believe it.
I can't believe it either.
Gay's come off the pitch, carrying the ball, walked to the Palace bench with a look of astonishment on his face. Newcastle free kick on the right wing, in their half of the field.
Can you believe that?
I thought it was clean challenge. I don't know what the referee's seen. Maybe, I don't know, is it the way he's gone in, even if there's not much contact?
What a tackle that is. That was awful refereeing. Absolutely scandalous refereeing.
It's an incorrect decision. And Newcastle have got a free kick in their own half. Gordon tackled by Deveni. Seems like he's playing at right wing back, so maybe they haven't changed much. Newcastle back to the go back to front there, but it's cut out in the middle by Lacroix. Here's Deveni on the outside of Hall, who's pulled him down. Free kick 5 yards into the United half. 11 minutes played in the second period. It hasn't been a classic, John Anderson, has it?
Yeah, we've said that a few times this season.
5-0 last season. Also featured the Eze penalty save from Nick Pope. They were 4 up at half-time, weren't they?
Yeah.
4-0 the previous season. Wharton straight to Joe Linton following the free kick. Out to Gordon. It sent him wide rather than forwards. Palace, they do get bodies back quickly. And Gordon just held on to it. He went nowhere, but he's saying he had nowhere to go. Share to Joe Linton. Across to Chow. Miley is on the outside. Chow drops his shoulder. Comes away from Palace opponent. Plays it to Share. Whipped across to Miley. Closed down quickly by Mitchell. Given to Chow, looking for Murphy, intercepted by Gay, played against Murphy, and it's come to Miley, into Tonali. It's a bit better. Bruno here, man on. Wharton dispossesses him. Pino with a flick, then Bruno wins it back, makes amends, and it goes to Nick Pope, 0-0.
He's another one, Pino. Flick here, flick there. Doesn't get hold of the ball.
Voltemada, Ramsey and Barnes warming up. Long ball up the line for Gordon, who can't keep it in. Been some goals at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It was 1-0 to Brentford at Everton at half-time. It's now 3-0 to Brentford. Everton 0, Brentford 3. Igor Thiago with his second, and Nathan Collins, the defender, got the other goal. And I think it's still Fulham 1, Liverpool 0, isn't it, from earlier on? And still 1-0 to Spurs against Sunderland. Tonali. It's given away. It was behind Hall. You could see what he was trying to do, but Hall had already run beyond the ball. Mateta away from Bruno on halfway. Straight at Share with the pass, fortunately. Share cuts inside. Wissa makes a run. So too does Gordon. Henderson's quick. He's out of his box. He's headed it away. Deveni's got there, but then Gordon has won it back. Anthony Gordon squares it for Murphy. Oh, it's cut out by Gay. Miley now for Murphy again. He's onside. Murphy's cross blocked by Gay. Miley back out to Murphy. Looks for space for the delivery, and he can't get the cross in. Mitchell blocks it and now clears. And Share on halfway takes a touch back to Pope. Bruno tying his bootlace is on the pitch but out of the game and offside at the moment. Joe Linton. Cambo's all over him. Joe Linton's flicked the ball inside and turned nicely. I think he's had a good game today.
Yeah, he has done well.
Chow up to Miley, inside right, and Murphy on the touchline into Tonali. Oh, it's a bit of a short ball, and Wharton has slid in, and Pino brings it away for Palace, who are a threat on the counter-attack. Johnson right, Mateta left. They find Brennan Johnson. He has a touch. It's a deflected effort. Share makes a block in front of the keeper. Pino then plays it against Share. Newcastle come away with it. It's a bit stretched. Livramento warming up, and I think he might be coming on. Miley Oh, good feet from Miley. Came inside and bringing the ball forwards well. On to Chow, who's wide right. Malik Chow. Back to Miley, to Joelinton. Here goes Bruno. Oh, it's got away from him. It was a bit of a bobble. Palace have a player down, Wharton. He's holding his ankle. Must have been in that challenge with Bruno. Hughes taking it to the corner. Plays it out off Miley. Palace throw. Wharton is still down. The whistle's gone. And I think Newcastle are going to make at least one change now. On the hour on BBC Radio Newcastle. Well, Harvey Barnes is there, and we can't see because part of the perspex roof of the bench is opaque, so we can't quite tell what's happening further back. But Barnes is ready, and it looked like they called for Livramento, who'd been warming up. Wharton is on his feet again. Crystal Palace have they filled 2 blocks and part of a third one, singing Adam Wharton's name, regularly linked with a move to clubs that tend to finish higher in the table than Palace. Wharton, very good player.
Yeah, he is a good player.
21 years of age. He's got a long and bright future ahead. Barnes waits to be introduced, and Livramento is also coming back from injury. Chow to Miley, to Bruno. He might be coming on at left back, possibly for this man, Lewis Hall, who's got space, flicks it out wide to Gordon, and then back through for the run of Hall to create something. Joelinton, Wissa, oh, it's got away from him. Tenali blocked. Wissa can't get the rebound. Palace cleared. Devaney looking for Mateta, and they're on for a break possibly. Pino just behind halfway, stumbles. Gordon slides in. What? Oh no! Yellow card for Gordon. He took the ball.
That's another scandalous decision. He slid in. He's won the ball. All this excessive force, it's a load of rubbish. He slid in, he's won. The boy's just too slow. He's won the ball as cleanly as you want. The same as Gahey earlier on. The referees had a mare.
It's not as if he's come in from, it's not a tackle from behind either, it's from the side, and he's scooped it away. Nothing wrong with that. Tanali's effort blocked 6 yards out. After that cross from Hall, Wissa couldn't make anything of it, and it was Mitchell who fended off Wissa, and then he made the block. Gordon replaced by Barnes. Livramento coming on for Hall, and Tenali leaving the pitch. Jacob Ramsey's coming on. It's a triple change. They don't like Tenali going off.
I'm not happy with that, Eddie.
Yet he's had criticism for some of his recent performances, and I think he's probably had a mixed afternoon, Sandro Tenali. Some of his usual brilliant things, and others where it's been a bit loose.
Yeah.
So Miley stays at right back, Livramento is left back, Ramsey right of the midfield 3, and Barnes on the left wing. And they've still got Voltemada, Willock on the bench, Botman and Trippier also named in the squad today. Ramsey's first touchdown's coming on. Control on halfway, and then a forward pass to Murphy. Back to Miley, comes inside. Fabian Schär in the centre circle, trying to drop it over the head of Mitchell for Murphy. Jacob Ramsey's got there. In the corner on the right, Ramsey tackled. Gay here, 2 black and white shirts on him. Plays it forwards, a couple of yards to Pino. Let's run across midfield. Livramento tackled by Wharton, who now comes away with the ball cleanly. Drives Palace up to the edge of the area. Brennan Johnson, first time shot, saved and spilled by Nick Pope, and then gathered eventually by the keeper. Pope wanted to go quickly, wasn't really sure of his options. They've got it now with Chow. Ramsey stretching. Surely that... I don't know what's a free kick and what isn't.
I tell you what, he doesn't know what's a free kick and what's not a free kick. He hasn't got a clue. He hasn't got a clue, this referee. Unbelievable.
Jacob Ramsey appeared to be nudged over in a manner that normally sees a free kick given. Eventually they got it. Bruno Wissa down at the edge of the area. What does the referee do here? Nothing. Not too many big appeals. Pino here onto the ball that ran loose for Palace. Out to the right to substitute Justin Devaney. Plays a ball into the area for Mateta. It hits Cher. Newcastle get it clear. Wharton shows typically nice control. 66 minutes, still 0-0. Camvo back to him from Devaney, and now on halfway, Lacroix. They had 2 first-half goals disallowed correctly for offside, one after a VAR check, and haven't found a way through in the second half. Up to Big Mateta, and back to Camvo and Wharton square to Hughes left side, not far from the penalty area. Pino taking his time, back to Gay. Palace moving the ball around. Hughes away from Wissa, back to Lacroix, just ahead of halfway. It's all in Newcastle's half. There's a challenge from Cher and a fair one, and Bruno to Ramsey's closed down, plays it away from Miley, but there's no danger. Miley back to Pope, and out to Cher and Livramento on the far touchline. Inside to Bruno, brings Newcastle forwards with a ball to Joe Linton, who's showing good power here in this run, and plays it to Barnes. Opportunity for Harvey Barnes on the outside. Corner. Doesn't feel like a match that will live long in the memory, the way that it's been played so far. And if they can get in front and give themselves a chance to go on and make it back-to-back Premier League wins, which would be hugely significant. Here's the corner from the captain. Oh, it's at the top of the bar. Looked like he went for a repeat of his effort against Burnley last month. And it's gone for a throw, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Hit the top of the bar and bounced back in. Murphy's header from the Palace throw. Bruno nods it to Chow. Gives himself a bit of time. That's well played. Bruno away from Hughes, pulling him back. Referee lets it go. There's an advantage. Bruno still got the ball. Square to Joe Linton. Now Livramento. Barnes on the outside. Finds Barnes. Here's Harvey Barnes. Low shot blocked in the middle. Miley comes to get it. Oh, his touch has gone backwards to Mateta. And then Murphy's won it back. Palace couldn't keep it. Jacob Murphy. A cut back for Barnes. Just inside the area. Back to Miley. Murphy then on the outside to Lewis Miley. First time cross, headed away. Jacob Murphy nods it to Bruno. Just outside the box, taken down by Wharton. A clear trip. And with Lewis Hall having gone off, they lack left-footed players, and this would be perfect for somebody like Hall. It's right of centre of goal, 5 yards back from the edge of the area. Nick Pope has come to the side of the pitch for what might be an energy drink or a caffeine shot or something from a sachet.
Something to warm them up.
Yeah. At the other end, 0-0. 20 minutes to play. Cher, Murphy and Wissa are behind the free kick. Palace get their wall in order. Camvo is part of it. He's now gone into the group of players towards the far side of the box. Cher and Wisser have walked away, and they've left it for Jacob Murphy. Jacob Ramsey goes to stand next to the wall. It's now a 3-man wall when it initially started as a 5. Murphy behind the free kick. Henderson's left a gap at the near side. Whether Murphy would go for it, or will he try to deliver for someone else? Chow wants it round the back. Murphy looks for that ball. Palace head away. Barnes on the corner of the box brings it down, lifts it in. Lewis Miley, and headed in by Bruno. It's the captain again. What a season he's having. He's just hit the bar from a corner. Now he's hit the net at the Gallagher end. The first ball in from the free kick, headed away. It was recycled. Barnes towards Miley, back across goal, where it was met by Bruno Guimaraes, and it's Newcastle United 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Well, it just kept the free kick alive. It's held back in there. It's a great header back across goal, and he's just coming on to it. Bang. 1-0. I have to say it's probably been coming as well, because they'd upped the pressure.
After 2 disallowed in the first half, it's good to see that Miley was onside, and the ball went backwards towards Bruno behind a couple of defenders, so no issue there. Palace are taking off Brennan Johnson, and on comes Christantos Uche, who is yet to start a Premier League match. He's only 22. The Nigerian. Brennan Johnson, Palace's record signing. You've not been impressed by him today, have you?
Seen him 3 times and haven't been impressed with him.
Newcastle lead, Palace kick off. Cher, that's a big header at the edge of the United box to clear it. Camvo to Deveni, and back to defender Camvo. Wisser puts a lot of effort into that, closing down, and Lacroix has to go back to Henderson, drives it up the right hand side. Cher wins another header, and it goes out. He's competed well, his 250th Newcastle United appearance, Fabian Cher. Bruno on to 7 goals this season. Gordon would have had 8 if he hadn't had it disallowed for Wisser's offside in the build-up. Voltemada's got 9, Barnes, Gordon and Bruno on 7. This is Barnes with a good run. Wisser trying to return it to him, but they're crowded out on the far side of the pitch, and Hughes back to Henderson, away first time. Chow covering behind Miley. He's just belted it up into the air, Malik Chow. Mateta and Hughes bring it down, and Uche here is introduced to Joelinton. And Newcastle have it back through Jacob Ramsey. Didn't have a lot on, and then got tackled near to halfway. Hughes for Mitchell. Chow heads the cross clear. Murphy tried to control it and lost it near to the corner of the penalty box. Gaze straight at Joelinton. Bruno for Barnes. Can get away, can play Wisser in. Barnes, he's hit it at the defender, but the ball was on early. It was on straight away. Wisser made the run into space, and Barnes took another couple of touches, and then it was blocked. Liverpool have equalised at Fulham. It's 1-1. Florian Wirtz, Liverpool's goal scorer. 1-0 Newcastle here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Wharton, 30 yards from goal, wanted to play it in, stopped, went square to Gay. Now Pino, Palace left wing, shifts it, tries to get away from Murphy, just about manages it, then chips it into the box, volleyed away by Livramento. Pino to Lacroix. Only Wisser really not in the box or on the edge of it as Newcastle defend. Cher with a header, Bruno on his chest, loses it to Deveni, edge of the penalty box. Mark Gay goes one way and then the other. Mitchell straight to Joelinton. Could they attack? Could they go quickly? It's Bruno. It's a foul from Wharton. It's a frustrating one for Palace, but it's a very welcome free kick for Newcastle United.
Pino's another one. I mean, he just lets the ball go. It's a ball played into him, and he tries to dummy it. He doesn't even know who's around him. And they're having a right go at him as well.
They lead 1-0 here on BBC Radio Newcastle, and Sunderland still trailing 1-0 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. That match, if you want the red and white action today, DAB from BBC Radio Newcastle, Freeview 711, or find BBC Radio Newcastle on BBC Sounds to listen to the Sunderland match. And we've got reaction and a phone in between 5 and 6 today. Fabian Schär, chip forwards. Murphy's made a run into the centre. Took it down well, and his passes were a bit wild. Joe Linton's made it into a decent ball, actually, and then he's given it away. Looking for Wissa. Palace to Mateta. It's behind Pino. It sends him wide. Newcastle get bodies back, and Jeremy Pino is offside. 19 caps for Spain. Jeremy Pino.
He's what?
19 caps for Spain.
Really?
26 million from Villarreal. Quite a big signing to come in from an established, a good Spanish team, one of the bigger clubs outside of the obvious ones. Hasn't had the impact he would have liked today for Crystal Palace. Bruno. Still got quarter of an hour remaining. Good work in midfield. Joe Linton involved again, and Bruno. And it's stepped over by Murphy, and Miley takes it on and delivers, looking for Wissa. But Lacroix gets across, and Gay can't prevent the corner.
Great move. Great move. Great ball again. He's been brilliant again, Miley at right back. He's been different class.
Nick Voltemada's going to be coming on next. I wonder if they do it before the corner because of the height. Miley's gone to get the ball, and he will take it. Outswinger here. Whistler's not really had a chance himself. Obviously the goal that he laid on for Gordon, he could have taken on, could have been selfish, but he was offside anyway. And you'd think he'd be the player going off. Here's the corner from Miley. Palace flick it clear, then Wharton helps it on further. Livramento rises. Joe Linton, who I think has been fantastic, is out there first to retrieve, and Jacob Murphy sticks it back in. Schär leaves it for Miley. Great first touchdown for Schär. First time cross. Good header. Pushed away by Henderson. That was Harvey Barnes, wasn't it, with the header? Wissa was there following up as well, and he's coming off in the change for Voltemada. Barnes with the header, and Wissa was following in at the back post. Henderson diving save to the right, pushed it out, and I think it hit the defender just next to Wissa and went behind.
Keeper pushes it back into an area, a dangerous area, and he gets lucky that it hits a defender.
Johan Wissa is off. Voltemada in the 78th minute is on. Bruno with a corner. He hit the bar with the last one from this side. Sends it in again. Oh, it's a scramble. It's in. Malik Chow celebrates. Malik Chow has scored. Bruno's set pieces. Well, they're a problem for the team defending them, and Malik Chow got on the end of that after Palace couldn't clear, and after scoring twice at Everton in November, Malik Chow, for the first time at St James's Park, is a Newcastle United goal scorer. One of their players of the season, has doubled the lead, and they look good for back-to-back Premier League wins. In the 79th minute, Newcastle United 2, Crystal Palace 0.
Well, it's a ball played in, and it ricochets all over the place. Nobody deals with it. Keeper flaps at it, falls straight to the feet of Chow. Toe pokes it in.
Newcastle go 2-0 up. Sunderland have equalised at Spurs. They have a soft centre, don't they, Spurs, as you always say?
Yeah, always have done.
Brian Broby has scored for Sunderland. 1-1 there. Most importantly, 2-0 at St James's. And that gives them important breathing space. Good challenge by Jacob Ramsey. Good desire to get onto the ball and help it forwards. Livramento now to Joe Linton. Back to Schär. And forwards it goes Bruno. I think got in the way of it. It wasn't intended for him. There's Palace now with Uche making a challenge. He's got the ball edge of the area. Back to Wharton, clipped in. Jeremy Pino heads back across. Malik Chow defending. Lewis Miley heads it away to the edge of the area. Gay volley blocked by Chow. Joel Linton throws himself in the way of Uche's shot. More terrific work from the Brazilian. And 2-0 up at St James's Park. Bruno intercepts Wharton's pass. Looks for Barnes. Livramento with a forward run. Barnes, can he play him in? Barnes is going to carry, and he's got two options to the right. He's gone left to Livramento. Now in the area. Cross is blocked, and Palace have the opportunity to clear. There's an offside anyway.
What a break.
This is not intended to be critical. Could it have gone early, maybe?
Yeah, could have gone a lot earlier. Barnes could have played it an awful lot earlier.
Still 2-0 on BBC Radio Newcastle. They look for Mateta. Chow manages to win the ball from him, lift it up and then bring it down with a brilliant touch on the far side. And Jacob Ramsey from Bruno's ball, wide left to Livramento. Barnes is offside, comes back into Ramsey, now back to Bruno on halfway. Miley is the option to the right. And it's inside to the skipper. A couple of short passes between him and Joel Linton. Now back to Cher. Chow over to Miley. The centre halves have switched. Maybe temporarily. Miley up to Ramsey, on to Joel Linton. They've worked that well. Barnes is free. Joel Linton. Oh, it's cut out by Devaney. Oh, a few times in this second half, the final pass just hasn't been right. Or hasn't got where it was intended to go. They could open up a bigger lead on Crystal Palace if they can get that bit right in the last 8 minutes plus added on time. 2-0 the score. Move on the far side from the visitors. Devaney's cross deflected behind, so they have a corner. Right wing, Crystal Palace, who've got Aston Villa next, and then Macclesfield of National League North in the FA Cup. It's an away match. And that's what lies ahead for them. Newcastle leads here. It's one of those 8:15 kickoffs on Wednesday, and then the Bournemouth Cup tie next Saturday at 3. Run of home fixtures, 4 in a row, 6 out of the next 7 at St James's. They lead 2-0 in this one, and Wharton's corner headed away by Joel Linton.
He's been immense today.
One of his best games, isn't it? Wharton, he's lost it to Bruno, and Barnes. Murphy's in the middle. Bruno's just got to play it. Murphy started in his own half, he's onside. Pino's getting back to him. Murphy sent out to the corner. Still Jacob Murphy. Newcastle remain on the attack. Pino's ended up on the floor, and they've got a cross into the middle, but it's caught by Henderson. Voltemada was in there, but not really near the ball when it was lifted over. Lacroix took a bit of a gamble there and nearly ran into trouble in the shape of Voltemada. Had to turn and go back to the keeper. Henderson straight onto the head of Cher, but that's been headed to Palace, to Hughes, and then given away by Wharton. And Livramento with a good run. Goes out to the far touchline and then comes inside. He's away, Livramento. Oh, that's fantastic. Voltemada holds it up, lays it off to Ramsey. No chance for the shot. The space was closed off. Bruno to Murphy. Oh, it's a really good ball by Murphy, but Voltemada just couldn't get there. It was a bit too far forwards, just ahead of him from where his position was at the back of the box. This is Barnes, who skips inside. Voltemada tried to return it. Palace have got it back. Joel Linton. A superb performance. Newcastle lead 2-0. Not all newspapers do their merit marks. The Chronicle still do. I think Joel Linton will get a very high score in the paper, won't he? for his performance today. Might get a 10. He's played really well, Joe Linton. And I'm sure the supporters at St James's Park who've cheered him throughout the match will agree that it's been one of his best games. Here's Chow, forward ball in behind Mitchell. Miley's up there. Lacroix comes across. Too high for Gay. Murphy wants to let it run for a throw. It's kept in by Hughes, but only for Chow. And then back to Cher. Eddie Howe comes out, has a word with Jacob Murphy as Newcastle switch the ball to the far side. 5 minutes to play. Ramsey. And they've got Barnes in. There's two in the middle. Harvey Barnes looks for Joe Linton. It's blocked. Comes out to Livramento. Across the edge of the penalty area, back to Cher, and now to Ramsey, on for Barnes, who spun, hangs up across, Mitchell let it run, Murphy, so goal kick. It's been a little bit frustrating that just the final ball hasn't quite been right. A couple of times there on a couple of breaks. I feel for Jacob Ramsey, because when Baltimore held it up, he waited before playing it back to Ramsey, and then the space for the shot it disappeared.
Is this dark arts? Is it Murphy going down, holding his hamstring? We've seen this before, haven't we? Somebody holding the hamstring.
Who did that? Ramsdale did it, didn't he? When did he do that? Which match was that? There's been so many. Old Trafford, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jean-Philippe Mateta is getting a breather. On comes 21-year-old midfielder Caden Rodney for Palace for his third appearance. They're also sending on Joel Drix-Thomas, who plays on the right side. Jeremy Pino leaves the pitch. Adam Wharton is also being replaced, and Romain Esse, who they signed from Millwall a year ago. He's a forward player. He's Wharton's replacement. Just giving a short, well, not much of a break to some of their star names. Murphy's had some treatment. He'll have to go off, but I think they're going to take him off anyway. Joe Willock is ready. They lead 2-0. Second half goals from Bruno and Chow. Jacob Murphy is off. So it's a change. It sees Willock introduced and Murphy off, and Newcastle don't have to go down to 10, but Murphy's gone down the tunnel. So although we may be light-hearted about it, it appears that we could have an injury issue. They're going up to 9th in the table as it stands, from 14th where they were, leading 2-0. Bruno on the halfway line. Wonder whether they could get a third. Voltemada making a nuisance of himself. Has he won it back? Yes, he has. Oh, great feet from Voltemada, and then tripped 30 plus yards from goal. They get a free kick. 2 minutes remaining of normal time. Give us a ring now on 0800 234 6565. 0800 234 6565, and we'll get your details and we'll ring you back during our phone-in. We'll chat to John Anderson about the match. Or send us a text message, 81333, start it with BBC. Bruno lifts the free kick in. Joe Linton climbed. Palace got the header, then another one, but they've only played it straight to Harvey Barnes. Chow outside of the right boot with that cross. Cleared away. Miley to Joe Linton. It's come for Willock on the right. Mitchell at his back. And Joe Willock towards the corner. Well, he's done well to keep it in as he was falling. Palace in the penalty area play their way forwards, and now Newcastle through Miley have regained possession. Bruno here on the touchline. It's a throw for Palace, although Bruno thinks it should have been United's. If you want to WhatsApp us, start it with BBC, and the number is 08000 321 333. Let us know what you think of the performance, the result, which I'm sure you'll be pleased with, whatever you think of the performance. And any other Newcastle topics that you want to discuss. Gay in the Newcastle half here, pursued by Joelinton. He's held him off, held onto the ball, played it wide right for Devaney. Here comes a cross, which is blocked by United, and then Palace lose it. Behind it goes Uche. Seemed like he slipped.
Yeah, second half performance has been so much better, hasn't it? Be more intensity about it.
That's the end of the 90 minutes. There's going to be another 5 to play.
5 minutes, substitution to be added. 5 minutes.
Nick Pope places the ball down for a goal kick. And hasn't taken it yet. Now he has. Voltemada tries to climb, but the header won by a leaping JD Camvo behind him, and a throw far side. Livramento gets it back from Joelinton, and they're heading inside now to Chow, and here's Miley. Barnes has come to the right wing. Just a tactical switch from Newcastle. Chow, nice turn. Miley to Bruno, and they're away. Harvey Barnes is away. He can run through on goal, Barnes, and seal it with a third. Oh, it's a big save. And it's put wide on the follow-up. Joe Willock has missed a sitter. He can't believe it. St James's Park can't believe it. Eddie Howe put his hands across his face. Henderson saved from Barnes. Willock, it was there to be finished off, and he put it wide.
That's an unbelievable. Dear oh dear. There's not a great deal you can say, is there?
Apart from how has he missed that? He's put it just past the post. He's really gone for power. He's coming at it from the side, but he should still score. Yeah, a one that he will unfortunately feel awful about. Here's Miley, strong run. Voltemada's trying to get in behind. They've clipped it over in behind for Voltemada. And now in the penalty area. No chance to run towards goal, but he's kept the attack going, Voltemada. Oh, it's a little flick through for Bruno. It's a nice idea. It was unfortunate. And Palace, 2 of their youngsters here, combining on the near side. We're into the 3rd minute of the 5. Still 2-0 to Newcastle United. Here's Drake's Thomas, a double-barrelled surname. And Essa there, muscled out of it by Fabian Schär. It's back with Nick Pope.
Just eased out of the way, wasn't he?
I know you're a big fan of expected goals, Ando. The XG stat, the phenomenon. I wonder what the XG was for the Joe Willock chance. It'd be quite high, wouldn't it? They were 6 points behind where they were at this stage last season, Newcastle, at the halfway mark going into the game. Another 3 points won. Going to take them into the top half ahead of Leeds at home on Wednesday. Voltemada tripped 35 yards out. 26 points before today. Last season they had 32. They had 29 2 seasons ago when they were last in the Champions League, and 38 the year they finished 4th. So obviously a big difference there. They've just got to put the run together, which it looks like they're going to start doing today. Here's Bruno trying to find Ramsey, intercepted. Mitchell now attempting to clear. Hughes flicks it on. Kept in by Palace on the near side. Miley to Joelinton, back to Pope. There's a minute to play on BBC Radio Newcastle, and it's 2-0. Now it's Chow back to Schär, up to Ramsey on the far left touchline. Schär again, long forward ball. More goals on Merseyside. Now Everton 2, Brentford 4. Igor Thiago got a hat-trick. Tierno Barry's pulled on back for Everton. Palace in the Newcastle half in possession. unless they get the ball and get it forwards quickly, I don't think they're going to have the chance to increase their lead and get a third, Newcastle, but they should have done that with various big moments they've had in the second half. But 2-0 looks like it's going to be enough. Here's a ball into the box from Palace. Diving header clear by Newcastle. Now Ramsey back to Joelinton, and a foul on Ramsey after he'd played it facing his own goal. It was a deep cross in towards Mitchell, who headed it back across, and then...
Yeah, there was nobody in there, though, was there?
Diving header clear, and no more time. Newcastle United win back-to-back Premier League matches for only the second time this season. They ended 2025 with 3 points. They start 2026 with another 3. Maybe they will put a run together. Crystal Palace beaten by 2-0. They came in the second half. Bruno from close range, after Miley sent the ball back across goal on 71, and then Chow from a Bruno corner after Palace couldn't get it clear. 78 minutes, the time of Chow's goal. They had other opportunities to add to their lead, but it's a win that takes them into 9th. Sunderland have drawn 1-1 with Spurs in North London. Sunderland in 8th on 30 points. Newcastle in 9th on 29 points. Side by side in the Premier League table. And we will be bringing you reaction to both matches between now and 6 on BBC Radio Newcastle. So give us a ring on 0800 234 6565, or send us a WhatsApp message 08000 321 333. Remember to start it with the letters BBC. You can type out a message on WhatsApp, or you can send us a voice note as well by pressing the microphone button. I'm sure you know how to do that, but we do welcome your voice notes on WhatsApp. Important result, John Anderson. 2 second half goals have been the difference in terms of the scoreline.
Yeah, look, the second half performance was so much better. More intensity, more aggression about the way that we played. First half we were a little bit timid, a little bit slow in what we did, but right result in the end. Probably could have won it by more. Willock's had a huge chance that he's put wide. First half was pretty even. It wasn't a classic, but second half, as I say, we were just so much better, so much more aggressive. Got in the face of Palace, made life very, very difficult for them. They found it difficult to get out, and got a just reward.
Getting consecutive victories is the way to climb the table, which they've done. So that looks a lot better. They have to do it, they have to deliver and have to earn it, but it's what you want to see them do over the next couple of weeks, isn't it? Leeds next. And
look, we said beforehand, we said before the game, this is a huge month. You know, there's so many games, a lot of them are at home. Our home record's been good throughout the season. Got another big test now on Wednesday night against Leeds. You've got to go again, you've got to get these players recovered, ready to go again. And then obviously a big cup tie against Bournemouth next Saturday.
Joelinton was terrific today, wasn't he?
He was great at Burnley as well, to be fair. You know, his first game back, he was all over the place today. I thought him and Miley were the pick of players in black and white. Defensively and offensively, he was good going forward, Joelinton. He was big, he was strong, won all his battles. Miley on this right hand side was great. You know, it's a shame for him, because you see the quality that he's brought, but you just think that when Livramento's 100% and Hall's 100%, that they're going to be a full-back pairing. But Miley was great again today.
Well, Livramento came on and went to left back. Lewis Hall got a bit of a break. Good to see Trippier and Botman on the bench ahead of a really busy run of fixtures for the rest of the month. And they're sticking around for our post-match phone-in. 0800 234 6565 is the number to ring. Dressing room reaction from Eddie Howe to come as well. Back-to-back wins for Newcastle United, who've beaten Crystal Palace by 2-0.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Well, there we have it. A home win and an away draw. That is two pretty good results for our two teams this afternoon. Newcastle United beat Crystal Palace 2-0. Bruno Guimaraes and Malik Chow with the goals in the final 20 minutes. Sunderland draw 1-1 at Spurs. A smashing finish, literally, from Brian Brobby. 10 minutes from the end. It's a fourth draw in a row for Sunderland. It's an umpteenth home win in a row for Newcastle United. But plenty for you to talk about. We're here until 6 o'clock. We've got John Anderson and Gary Bennett with us. 0800 234 6565 is the number if you want to give us a call. And we want you to give us a call. Have a chat. It's a Sunday. It's different. It's not a Saturday afternoon. We are on for even longer than normal. We're on until 6 o'clock. Normally we've got a non-league phone-in, a non-league roundup to shorten the phone-in slightly. But no, if you want to get on, we can get you on. 0800 234 6565. 81333 if you want to send us a text message, or 08000 321 333 if you want to send us a WhatsApp message. All of those have to start with the letters BBC. Sunderland and Newcastle now next door neighbours in the Premier League table.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Hi, it's Matt here, and I just want to say a massive thank you for listening to the show this year. You lot have truly made it what it is.
Hi, Matt. I'm just bored. I'm stuck in traffic, and if I'm in the car, I'll usually ring someone to pass the time. So I thought Matt Bailey will answer the phone.
Matt, put your Echo on and do garlic bread on your Echo.
Garlic bread?
Can I do it? Garlic bread.
Have a good one, and I'll see you in 2026.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6. Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Give us a call then, 0800 234 6565 to discuss Newcastle United's 2-0 win over Crystal Palace, or Sunderland's 1-1 draw at Tottenham Hotspur. I mentioned the next door neighbours in the table now. Sunderland 8th on 30 points, Newcastle United 9th on 29 points. Ando and Benno standing by to talk to you between now and 6 o'clock. Elsewhere in the Premier League today then, the early game finished Leeds 1, Manchester United 1. Brendan Aronson after 62 minutes for Leeds, giving them the lead, but Mateusz Cunha equalised 3 minutes later for Manchester United. Leeds 1, Manchester United 1. There were 6 goals shared between Everton and Brentford. 3 of them were scored by Igor Thiago. It finished Everton 2, Brentford 4. Nathan Collins got Brentford's other one. Everton were already 3-0 down by the time they got one back through Beto, and were already 4-1 down by the time Tierno Barry scored in the 91st minute. So Everton 2, Brentford 4. We know that Newcastle have beaten Crystal Palace 2-0, and we know that Sunderland have drawn 1-1 away at Tottenham Hotspur. They are still playing at Craven Cottage. The game between Fulham and Liverpool, kick-off was delayed until 3:15 because of a medical incident in the crowd. So Fulham 1, Liverpool 1 is not a full-time score yet. Harry Wilson after 17 minutes for Fulham. Florian Wirtz 12 minutes into the second half with the equaliser. Fulham 1, Liverpool 1. We'll tell you when that gets to full-time. The 5:30 game in the Premier League is Manchester City against Chelsea.
Total Sport North East.
Call free 0800 234 6565.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into the Championship then, a few games postponed. Just wait till we get to League 2 and tell you how many games are postponed there. But Sheffield United against Oxford United called off, and Hull City against Watford, and Portsmouth against Ipswich as well, all because of the weather. The games that did go ahead, Coventry, the leaders, dropped points again, beaten 3-2 at Birmingham City. Eccles and Sims with Coventry's goals. Dukes got 2 for Birmingham City. Coventry had Brandon Thomas sent off in the final minute, but Birmingham City 3, Coventry City 2. Queen's Park Rangers beat the bottom side Sheffield Wednesday 3-0 in the other early game. In the 3 o'clocks, a couple of doubles for Blackburn and Charlton. Baraji got 2 for Blackburn, Kelman got 2 for Charlton, and that game finished 2-2, Blackburn 2, Charlton 2. Preston scored once in each half to win 2-0 away at Bristol City. Wrexham 2-1 winners, they continue their good run, 2-1 winners away at Derby County. Smith in the first half, James in the second. That's 3 wins in a row for Wrexham. Middlesbrough scored 4 in the second half, 4 in the space of 21 minutes actually, to beat Southampton 4-0. Morgan Whittaker with 2, Silvera and Alan Brown on loan from Sunderland with the other one. It means that Middlesbrough are back level with Ipswich in second on points. They're still behind them on goal difference and still 8 points behind the leaders, Coventry. Millwall left it very late. By late, I mean the 92nd minute, to beat Swansea City 2-1. Stoke left it slightly late, but not quite as late. They scored twice in the final 15 minutes to win 2-0 away at Norwich City.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
There were a few games off in League One as well today. Doncaster against Luton, Port Vale against Barnsley, Rotherham against Mansfield and Stevenage against Leyton Orient all postponed because of the weather. The games that did go ahead: Bolton 0, Northampton 0, Lincoln the leaders 5-2 victors over Peterborough United. In fact, they're not the leaders, sorry, Cardiff are 3 points ahead of them, but they won by 5-2 today. A couple in there for Tendai Darikwa. Cardiff, who are the leaders, are still 3 points clear because they beat Wigan by 1-0. Callum Chambers with that one. Blackpool 1, Bradford City 2. Ashley Fletcher with Blackpool's goal, but Swan with the winner for Bradford. Huddersfield 2, Exeter 2. Huddersfield ahead twice, pegged back twice. Wareham for Exeter in the 89th minute. Plymouth, though, were comfortable 3-0 winners over Burton Albion. Brendan Galloway, formerly of Sunderland, with one of those goals, the first goal in fact. Lewis Wing, formerly of Middlesbrough and CM Red Star and various other teams in the North East, scored Reading's goal as they beat Stockport County by 1-0. And the final game also had a former Sunderland player scoring in it. Wycombe beat AFC Wimbledon 2-0. The second Wycombe goal scored by Niall Huggins.
Total Sport North East.
Call free 0800 234 6565.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
I say former Sunderland player, still technically a Sunderland player. He's on loan at Wycombe. 2 games in League 2 as well. All of the 3 o'clock games called off in League 2, by the way, so there were due to be 10 of them. They were all postponed. The 2 early games in League 2, Cheltenham beat Crawley 3-0 and MK Dons and Chesterfield finished 2 apiece. Will Grigg equalising in the 94th minute for Chesterfield. You're listening to BBC Radio Newcastle, and we have got just under an hour for you to come on and chat with both John Anderson and Gary Bennett about Newcastle United's 2-0 win over Crystal Palace and Sunderland's 1-1 draw at Tottenham Hotspur. Let's say good evening to you both, Ando and Benno.
Good evening, Colin.
I genuinely can't work out, and I'm prepared to let other people decide and argue this, which is the better result today, and therefore who I start with. I'm going to start with Sunderland. I know it's a 4th draw in a row, Gary, but it's a very good point earned by a very good goal.
Yeah, a fantastic goal, but it's a fantastic point as well. Any point away from home is a good point. And, we didn't play well today. The players, the manager will tell you that. Our passing was sloppy. We was a little bit, shall we say, tired. I think a lot of energy went into the Manchester City game, and it's shown here today. But, got that saying, till the end, and they kept going till the end, and what an equaliser it was from Broby. Great 1-2 on the edge of the box.
That's what I was going to say. Sorry, I interrupted, which was what I was going to say was describe it for the people who haven't seen it. I've been fortunate enough to see it, and obviously so did you.
Yeah, it was a good build-up. Ball's gone into Broby. He's played a 1-2 with Lefay on the edge of the box. It's a great touch by Lefay, but what a finish with his left foot. Top corner. Excellent goal.
A lot of the post-match neutral reaction to your game, Gary, will be about Spurs and about Thomas Frank, and I know they were booed off the pitch again.
Yes.
We look at Sunderland, obviously more than we do the opposition. In that first half where Sunderland really weren't in the game, if we're honest, was that because Sunderland were...
I won't say we weren't really in the game. I think we made them into the game because we kept giving them the ball.
Well, that, funnily enough, you've kind of answered the question I was eventually getting to, was how good were Spurs and how bad were Sunderland in the first half?
Sunderland were bad.
Yeah.
Especially with the standards which they've set themselves this season. We kept giving the ball away for fun. And it weren't just one player, there was 2 or 3 players kept giving it away. But saying that, Tottenham weren't, the quality wasn't there. Other teams, if we would have kept doing that with other games, we would have been punished. We got punished, I've got to say, in the first half. We did get punished from a set piece, and it was a sloppy goal which we conceded.
But ultimately a very good point. And again, we talked about it before the game. Sunderland are, and this is not a negative thing, when you look at the Premier League table, they're looking down rather than looking up, because the important thing is the gap to the relegation zone and get that sorted. They're aiming for 40 points. They've hit 30 points after 20 games. That's a brilliant first chunk of the season.
Yeah, before the ball was kicked at the start of the season, we would have said that maybe 40 points was enough to keep you in the Premier League. I think it's going to be lower than that. And just to think that we've got 30 points on the table already. Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's credit to the team, the football club. 30 points already. I think 35 points is enough to keep you in this division.
I think you're right, and I'll bring Ando on this later on in the hour as well if we come back to it. But yeah, when you look at the table and you think it might already be West Ham, Burnley and Wolves that go down, because they do look worse than everyone else. I know Nottingham Forest are plummeting, but they do look worse than everyone else, and if they get detached, then you're right, it might not take anywhere near 40 points to get Premier League safety assured. But Sunderland are on 30 points. Newcastle United now up to 29, Ando, after a victory that was deserved but took a little while for it to actually be secured.
Second half performance deserved it. They were by far the better side in the second half. Didn't think we played particularly well first half. We were slow. That intensity wasn't there. Second half we were far better. We pinned Crystal Palace in. They couldn't get out. And in the end it could have been more. We've had other chances that we didn't take. There wasn't a great deal between the sides in the first half, but the second half we were by far the better side, deserved the win, and as I say, it could have been by more.
It's interesting, we had a text, and I'll come back to all the text messages later on. We had a text that started with the phrase only turned up for 45 minutes, and I genuinely, when I started reading it, I wasn't sure whether it was going to be Newcastle or Sunderland related. I think it's a little bit harsh on either team in terms of only turning up, but it was a Sunderland one in the end, so thank you for your message, Tom, and I'll come back to that. Bruno pops up with good goals at the right time, doesn't he?
Yeah, it was a free kick that was cleared, and they kept it alive, and Barnes has stuck one in back post. I think it was Sher who's just helped it back across goal, and he arrives in the 6-yard box, just heads it in. I think that's his 7th goal of the season. And it came in an important time for us, because you wondered whether the goal was ever going to come. We had them pinned in, we had chances that we hadn't taken. You just thought, is it going to be one of those days? But I think when the first one went in, you could see the second one coming along, and as I say, we could have had 3, could have had 4, but it's a good win for us. Our home form's been good. Our getting results here at St James's has been impressive, and we've got a lot of games coming up here. Was it 6 of the next 7 are here, so hopefully that form continues.
Yeah, because I think, and I apologise, I might get this slightly wrong because I've been counting very quickly. I think it's 9 wins in the last 10 home games. The draw with Chelsea, the only non-victory.
Yeah, unbeaten in 10.
Unbeaten in 10 at home. Yeah. I'm sure Chelsea's the only draw. Oh no, Spurs was a draw as well, wasn't it? But
Spurs is a draw as well. Yeah.
So 8 wins and 2 draws from 10 home games. Like you say, we talked beforehand. Eddie Howe talked beforehand about how important January was going to be with all these home games. Crystal Palace are capable. They can be tricky at times. That's one obstacle out the way, and the momentum keeps going.
Yeah, we spoke about Palace beforehand. They've hit a bit of a wall. The games I've seen them in previously, they've looked leggy, they've looked tired, and that's the way it looked second half. They couldn't handle the intensity that we played at second half. Joe Linton was immense in the middle of the park. He was everywhere, and young Miley again at right back. It's going to be so cruel on him, because obviously Livramento was back on the bench today. You would think it's only a matter of time before Livramento comes back in. And as I say, it's going to be cruel on Miley, because he was outstanding again today at right back. Yeah,
but you're right. Clearly, he's not the first choice. No matter how well he's done, he's not suddenly become the first choice right back. But in a strange sort of way, has he in any way played his way into a midfield starting berth by how well he's performed at right back?
No, I think he'll always go with his tried and tested. Yeah. He'll go with those 3 in there. I know he took Tonali off, brought Ramsey on. You would think Miley most definitely will go ahead of Ramsey. But I think his preferred choice of midfield 3 will be those 3 in there: Guimaraes, Tonali and Joe Linton. Which, as I say, is harsh on Miley, because he's been asked to go and do a job at right back, and since he's been asked to go there and play, he's been absolutely superb, and he's got better game by game. It's a position that's been foreign to him, but he's taken to it like a duck to water. I just think he will feel a little bit aggrieved. I'm just taking it for granted now that Livramento will come back in as the recognised right back. But but Miley's been, as I say, he's been brilliant, and he was brilliant again today. He's getting better at it game by game.
It's whether, just final one on this, it's whether Lewis Hall is given a bit of a rest given how much football he's had to play, and if Trippier is also fit, whether Trippier plays right back and Livramento starts at left back. Possibly not Leeds, but certainly the 2 cup games after that.
Yeah, I think they'll all get game time, there's no doubt about that, because we've got so many games coming up. What is it, 8 games in 29 days or 9 games in 28 days or whatever it is. So there's an awful lot of football to be played, so everybody will get a certain amount of game time, but you would think that his number 1 full-back pairing will be Hall and Livramento. And again, that's nothing against Miley, who's been great, but it's great for Eddie Howe to have them options, to know that he can go in there and he can do a job. And the bench looks so much healthier today with those 3 back, Botman, Livramento and Trippier. A lot more experience on there.
No, I think it must be 9 games in 28 days, because they've still got 8 games left in January, and we're already the 4th. So, it's an extraordinary month of January. 0800 234 6565, the number to call for you to have a chat with Ando about Newcastle's win over Crystal Palace, or indeed about Sunderland's draw at Spurs. And that is what Gus wants to do. Gus is a Sunderland fan who joins us. Good evening, Gus.
Good evening, lads. All right. Yeah,
hello, Gus.
Nice to speak to you again.
How are you?
I'm fine, Gary.
Good.
Gary, what an excellent result at the end. What a good point for us away from home.
It was indeed.
It was.
Yeah.
It's like you said, Gary, in your commentary there. It's just like you just feel as though that there's something there, and that it's like till the end, isn't it? You can never say die kind of sort of attitude at the moment, and it's all credit to the lads. I thought like the whole game changed with like obviously the substitution and the switching around. It's all credit, like you say, to the to the manager, and but it's like you say, we just kept going, Gary. And I just felt, Gary, that if we could get our Tottenham, get a little bit of rhythm going with our play, we could snatch a goal, and obviously that's what happened in the end.
Yeah, we always thought there was still an opportunity there, even though it was 1-0 down. It was just having that belief, getting that opportunity, and when it did come along, what a great finish it was. But I think, the players themselves and the team grew with a lot of confidence, especially when Ballard was introduced, came on. All of a sudden they grew, and they thought, we've got a chance here, in both boxes, because he is a threat.
Yeah.
And we started, the way we changed the team around as well. McKaylee looked a lot better at right back, going up and down on that right hand side as well. And Lefay playing as a 10. He was making some great runs, Lefay. But well deserved point.
Well deserved point, Gary. An excellent finish. I'm pleased with Brian Bobby, Gary, because he's been knocking on the door the last, like you say, 2 or 3 games, and you felt for him. And like you say, he's come off the last 2 home games, a bit disappointed in himself, because he realised that he could have get us a goal, but like you say, I think this will have done him the world of good. His confidence, but he just seems to keep, and he's a threat. Even like you say, just like his physical presence is still always a threat, Gary.
I tell you what, it's a great finish. He didn't have half fire that in.
Yeah,
brilliant,
Gary, what was wrong with Wilson today? Was he?
He must have took a knock. He must have picked up a knock, and we just mentioned that at the end, me and Nick.
Yeah.
Because if Wilson was on the bench, most probably he would have been replaced Roby.
That's right.
Yes, before he scored.
Yeah.
Before he scored.
Good point. Yeah. But anyhow, it's like you say, the lads keep putting in the performances, and it's another point on the board there, Gary. That's the way we've got to look at it as well.
Goes 30 points.
Yeah,
30 points already.
Yeah, sometimes 1 point
Brilliant.
away from home is worth 3 at home, Gary.
Always point away from home is a good point, especially in this league, in the Premier League.
Premier League, yeah. Well, anyhow, Gary, been good speaking to you, and safe journey home.
Thank you, Gus. You too.
Gus, always hand to you, Gus. Happy New Year. Always good to hear from you, Gus. If you want to do what Gus has just done, come on, have a chat. Give us a call. 0800 234 6565 is the number. Just to kind of round up what Gus said at the end about a point away from home being good and 30 points, etc., Gary. I made this point, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So a point a game is enough for Sunderland to stay up. 38 points will be enough. Sunderland could lose the next 10 in a row and still be on target for the one thing that matters this season. That's the scale of the achievement so far.
Yeah, you know, they're breaking records all the time, aren't they? You know, nobody was expecting them to have 30 points already this time of the season. But they keep believing. And again, you've got to say, I think another 5 or 6 points is enough for him.
Yeah, which is mad, given that we've still got 18 games left of the league season.
And it just changes their target, Colin. You know, our target was survival. Now, are we looking beyond that? Are we looking, finishing in the top half, or are you looking even further than that?
Can you afford? Well, supporters can do what they like, obviously, but nobody within the club surely can afford to do that, or will do that, until they've got to 40 points, which it looks very likely they're going to get to now. They're not. Nobody's head's going to be turned inside the club yet, is it?
Well, like I've mentioned before, I don't think you need 40 points. Honestly speaking, I think when you look at the clubs who are down there, and we talk about there's maybe 3 at the top who's fighting for the title. Then there's a group in the middle, and then you might be talking about maybe 5. Maybe 6 teams at the bottom who are fighting. That's how I look at it.
So we've got the bottom 3 as they are, obviously: Wolves, Burnley, West Ham, and then you're kind of lumping Forest, Leeds, and Bournemouth in with that. Yeah. But either way, Sunderland are well clear of any of those teams that we've just mentioned. If you want to send us a text message, the number is 81333. I'm going to read a Sunderland message to you, and then I'll come back to Newcastle, a couple of those messages. But we got a text message at half time, Gary, which doesn't have a name on it, but it says deja vu from Régis Lebris so far today. His refusal to rotate the squad is to blame for our tired first half display. Now, actually, that probably is fair when it was sent, because it did look like a tired first half display, but Sunderland have got through another game without having to dip into a bench that wasn't as strong on quality as he would probably like it to be, I guess.
Well, again, that is the big question. When you look at the bench and you look at the options he hasn't got much options, has he? When you're talking about freshening the team up, they looked, that first 45 minutes, they looked tired. Then you think, okay, who do you take out and who do you put in?
Well, yeah,
that is the question. Who do you put a Luke O'Nien in? Do you put a Dan Neil in? Do you change the goalkeeper and put Patterson in?
I don't think anybody is saying anybody who's listening to you asking these rhetorical questions, I don't think anybody's saying yes to any of those, are they? So
well, that's the options he's got. He's got no options.
Yeah, until the 5 come back from the Africa Cup of Nations, and all of them qualify for the knockout stages, which doesn't help in that respect. Then it is going to have to be. And so therefore, would you expect to see or would it not surprise you then to see an identical starting 11 on Wednesday as well?
I think it'll be similar on Wednesday. I think when you will see changes, I think you'll see changes on the Saturday against Everton.
Yeah, almost certainly. And we'll come back to that from a Newcastle point of view in midweek as well. A couple of these text messages, Ando, just before we talk to Steve, who's a Newcastle United supporter on the line as well. Paul says we massively benefited from Crystal Palace having a game on New Year's Day. Gave us an extra couple of days rest to recover. Did that look like that made a difference? And B, as an ex-professional footballer, does 2 days make a difference?
I think in the modern game it probably does, yeah. I said earlier on to you, Colin, that the recent games that I've seen Palace, they've looked leggy, they look tired. They have injury problems as well. They've got players missing and players away at the Africa Cup of Nations. I think second half they ran out of legs a little bit, especially in midfield. But would I put it down to that? No, because I just think we upped our level second half as well. I thought our energy levels increased. I thought the urgency at which we played in the second half was so much better than what it was in the first half. We moved the ball quicker. Our physicality was better second half as well. We were a little bit too tepid in the first half, too slow in what we did, and all that changed in the second half, and we pinned Palace in. And as I said, we could have won it by more. And as far as having an extra 2 days, of course it's going to help. Yeah, with the amount of games that you've got over this Christmas period, if you've got an additional 2 days rest over an opposition, it most definitely does help.
Steve is a Newcastle fan who's been listening to this conversation. Good evening, Steve.
Evening. Happy New Year, lads.
Happy New Year.
All the best, Steve. Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
I've seen quite a few things wrong with the game, John, that you haven't mentioned. I thought there was a lot of passes going astray. I thought there was a lot of passes getting made which weren't on in the first place, and we were getting caught on the ball far too easily.
But that's nothing new. That's nothing new, Steve. We don't keep the ball well. You know, you're saying that as if it's a one-off, as if we give the ball away. As giving the ball away today is something that we don't do on a regular basis, and we do. You know, I said at Burnley on the other night that we needed to take the sting out of the game. We needed to slow the game down. We needed to keep the ball and move Burnley around the pitch. And we just kept giving the ball back to them. You know, you watch our Manchester Cities, you watch our Arsenals, when they're under pressure a little bit, they slow the game down to keep the ball, they move the opposition, they take the sting out of it. And we don't keep the ball. We're a team that plays in transition, and we move it quick, and we try to get it forward early, and that's the way that we play.
Yeah, I was just about to say, but the only one of our team that wasn't doing that, and they mentioned it when on Sky when they gave him the man of the match award, was young Bailey. He never all his passes connected with a black and white shirt. I was just going to say he was brilliant today. You know, yet again, I thought him and Joe Linton were the pick of players in black and white. Joe Linton was excellent in the middle of the park, but Miley at right back, Steve, just seems to be getting better and better. Sorry. So far, he's made player of the season. He's got a Champions League goal. He's got a goal in the Premiership, and some of the passing he does make, putting out opposition midfielders. That classically, a couple of weeks back, he made that corner that got the goal. Oh, he's got a mature head on his shoulder for such a young lad. He knows he read the game very well, and I didn't think it was going to work when they put him back into a right back a few weeks ago, but it's worked very well. It's like a glove.
Does he stay at right back for you?
No, he does look as though he wants, even when he's playing in right back, he's looking for a chance to get forward. But that's the defensive winger's job's now to get forward. I know that, but he's looking to get in the middle and not stay on the wing. And then, I've got to go back there. And he is a better midfielder than he is a defender. So he will want, and I agree with you what you said before. I don't think Eddie's going to put him in the starting lineup with the central midfielders we've got. It's going to be his standard starting lineup that he has in the midfield. Joe Linton.
Which is going to be tough on him because, as I say, you know, he's been asked to do a job at right back, and he's been brilliant. He's got better game by game, but that'll benefit him when he goes back into the middle of the park as well. You know, and he'll there's no doubt about it. He will feel aggrieved when he's not in the side, but his time will come, there's no doubt about it, because he's getting better and better. And I agree with what Steve has said. For such a young lad, he's got such a mature head on his shoulders, and his decision making for such a young boy is top notch.
Because that's the thing, and obviously I'm talking to a fullback here. It's not easy to just plonk someone in another position. You can understand the basics of defending and attacking. When does a fullback stay? When does a fullback go? But you're right, that decision making on the ball under Premier League pressure just doesn't seem to faze him at all.
I think more so nowadays, because your fullbacks are always your outlet. Your fullbacks in the modern game are your outlets. They get you up the pitch quickly. They push on. They start attacks off. They help their wide boys. They have to get into advanced positions. You need a good engine on you. You need to be able to get forward. You need to be able to get back. And as I said to you earlier, Colin, he's an amateur when it comes to playing at fullback, but he's getting better game by game. He's obviously a very bright lad. He takes things in. He listens to what he's been told. And his performances at fullback have just got better game by game.
Yeah. Give us a call if you want to talk about Lewis Miley, anything Newcastle related, or indeed anything Sunderland related. Who was your man of the match from a Sunderland perspective this afternoon in the 1-1 draw at Spurs? 0800 234 6565 to have a chat with John Anderson and with Gary Bennett. 81333 if you want to send us a text message, or 08000 321 333 for WhatsApp messages. 08000 321 333. You can add us as a contact, and then you only have to remember that number once or write it down once. 08000 321 333. Start all of your messages, whether they are text messages or WhatsApp messages, with the letters BBC. I'm going to come back to some of them very shortly. Just go on 5:30.
So who am I?
Matthew Ellis. You're on your own and you've money to burn.
New series of The Night Manager.
If I get you in, I'm done. It's just you and me.
Starring Tom Hiddleston.
Deception is in our DNA.
You played me. Get to the airport now.
I have to get to him before he gets to me.
The Night Manager.
Make the call.
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
A lot of movement in the 6-yard box, a lot of bodies in there as well. It goes deep to Romero. He brings it back here for Van den Ven, and it's stabbed home by Bentancur. Slips it into the middle. Broby's going to get the ball back. Broby! Oh! What a finish! 1-1 goal! 81st minute. Brian Broby lashes it home.
Barnes on the corner of the box, brings it down, lifts it in. Lewis Miley, and headed in by Bruno. It's the captain again. What a season he's having. He's just hit the bar from a corner. Now he's hit the net at the Gallagher end. The first ball in from the free kick, headed away. It was recycled. Barnes towards Miley, back across goal, where it was met by Bruno Guimaraes, and it's Newcastle United 1, Crystal Palace 0. Bruno with a corner, he hit the bar with the last one from this side, sends it in again. Oh, it's a scramble, it's in! Malik Chow celebrates. Malik Chow has scored. Is a Newcastle United goal scorer, one of their players of the season, has doubled the lead, and they look good for back-to-back Premier League wins. In the 79th minute, Newcastle United 2, Crystal Palace 0.
Total Sport North East.
Call free 0800 234 6565.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Those the goals then from our two commentary games today. Newcastle United's 2-0 victory over Crystal Palace, Sunderland's 1-1 draw at Spurs. What was your experience, Gary? I know I asked you this beforehand, of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium then overall.
Oh, unbelievable.
Why? What's so good about it?
Everything. Facilities, the way it's shaped, the thought, what's being put into it, everything. Beautiful stadium.
And
really
you've been a few times now, haven't you? You would concur?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fabulous stadium. It's got everything you could want. The only thing they're missing is a football team.
Hey. Well, I mean, they're not chuffed with the one they've got at the moment. They certainly are.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Indeed. Couple more of these Sunderland messages before we talk to Paula, who's a Sunderland supporter, who's going to be on the line. This one from David. It says, to be fair, Sunderland totally dominated the second half. Should have won it. Still not lost since the AFCON players left on the 15th of December. That's quite an achievement considering people said we would struggle, Gary.
Yeah, again, the players who've come in, they've done a job. As I said, to have that amount of players missing, and again, we've talked about, you're looking at the strength and depth on the bench. How can he change things? He most probably have to go with maybe the same 11, 12 players on Wednesday against Brentford. So, yeah, you just credit to the players. Excellent. Today, not the best. You could see that they look tired. They put a lot of effort in, especially with that game against Manchester City on New Year's Day. But to keep going till the end and to keep doing that and keep surprising us. And, Broby, that's what he needed today. He needed that goal.
Yeah, because Sunderland are going to have to get through Brentford, obviously, on Wednesday night, then the FA Cup game, but there would have been changes there anyway at Everton. And then
Crystal Palace.
By the time Crystal Palace comes around, there might be a player or two back. They can't all play in the final. The final is that weekend. But, you're certainly looking at West Ham on the 24th of January, so still another 3 league games away before they're guaranteed to have all of those players back, and that's the assumption that they're all fit when they come back as well. One more text message from a Sunderland point of view, because I read the first half out of it earlier. It only turned up for 45 minutes and still picked up a point, says Tom. We look very tired, and that leaves me quite worried for the rest of the week with our small squad. But we've kind of touched on that, Tom. It does feel like get through Wednesday night and then there can be changes galore, which is a shame, but changes galore for the FA Cup game at Everton next Saturday lunchtime. Let's have a chat to Paula then, our Sunderland supporter who's on the line. Good evening, Paula.
Good evening.
Hello, Paula.
Hi, nice to speak to both of you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Same to you.
It's 4 draws in a row, which in some circumstances might be bad news, but it's very good news.
I just think it is incredibly good news. I mean, you have to think about who we've scored the draws with the people like Man City and Spurs. But Spurs, of course, are not doing very well at the moment. But yeah, anything that is not a loss is good for us at the moment. I'm very pleased with that.
Yeah, you look at the games which we've gone through. You look at the points which we're picking up. I think they've done really, they're punching above the belt. To be truthful,
I think
because
definitely.
You look at Leeds United today. They drew with Manchester United. We've got a point against Manchester City, and I think when you look at it, would you take a point now against Brentford?
Actually, when it comes to Brentford, I have a really good gut feeling that we might get 3 points against them, because we up our game when it's people who are above us, and Brentford, of course, are doing very well. So I think we've got a good chance of getting even further with them. I mean, yes, a point would be really good, but I think we can get 3 points. And I know that we were very tired, we were very leggy in the first half today, but we did raise our game here again, and we're going to do it again. The only thing I was really upset about was poor Lefebvre only hitting the post the first time, and the second half. I thought that should have been a goal. That was a really good effort. And then, of course, he did the 1-2 with Robbie for Robbie's fantastic goal. That was really brilliant.
Yeah, what I've seen in the last few games as well, I think Lefebvre's starting to come to the front. He's been excellent. He's really starting to enjoy. He's really starting to enjoy his football, and we're starting to see the best of Lefebvre. Especially in the position which he's playing. He likes to get on the ball. He likes to make things happen, and I tell you what, he's getting better and better each game.
He certainly is. I mean, when we got him last year, and he was saying that he was a magician, we didn't really see that as much to start with. And he is, as you just say, he's getting better and better. And I think Benno is really going to come into his own. And
he's a good footballer.
If he starts scoring, that'll be fantastic.
Yeah, he was unlucky with that header which hit the post.
It was.
Yeah, because he was one in the... Trying to remember, was it Leeds? It was kind of the parts of the game against Leeds where Sunderland were kind of clinging on a bit after Leeds had scored their equaliser early in the second half. Him and Xhaka, Lafay and Xhaka, were possibly the two most guilty of giving the ball away. And he is someone who, when you know how good he can be, it's frustrating when he's not at that level and he gives the ball away. But when what he tries to do comes off, Gary, it's exceptional.
Yeah, it is indeed. And, you've got to see his touch. If you get a chance for that equaliser, it's a fantastic touch. The weight, what he's put on it, and you allow Robbie just. Sorry.
Yes,
sorry,
I just
Paula.
think basically is he gets frustrated as well and in himself. I think he thinks I can do better than this, and I think yes, every time he comes close, I think he's really more into having more belief that I can do it.
Yeah, definitely. And they keep surprising us each game. They keep surprising us, don't they? And again, we've seen it on New Year's Day against Manchester City, the performance they put in, and the question was, can they go again? Okay, we weren't at it today, but I tell you what they did do, they kept going till the end.
Which is all you can ask. Paula, we're going to have to leave it there and move on. Thank you very much indeed for your call today, Paula. 0800 234 6565 is the number. I'm going to read one more Newcastle message and then we'll hear from Eddie Howe, Ando. There's a couple that are praising Lewis Miley, which I'll tell you what, I'll read that out now. And then there's a couple that are a bit more negative about other aspects of play generally. Bill in Shipcut says Miley could play anywhere. He could get a game ahead of the below par Tonali or in place of the injured Murphy. He's going to be a superstar and he's better than Elliot Anderson at the same age, says Bill. And it's hard to compare.
Yeah, it is. It's. I think that's. We'll wait and see on that one. Yeah. But look, he looks like you could put him anywhere. To be fair, you put him at right back, and he's excelled. Because he's such a bright lad, he reads the game really, really well. He sees the big picture. You probably could play him anywhere, but I think I agree with. But I think he most definitely has a huge future ahead of him. There's no doubt about that.
And Brian's message mentions Miley as well at the end. He says, not a classic, but 3 points to kick off the year. First half looked like two mid-table teams, but the second half was better when we upped it. Pope only had one save to make. Bruno, Joelinton, Miley, Gordon, all excellent. But Tonali still below par, says Brian. That's the same phrase that Bill used a minute ago. And the injury to Murphy leaves us with no right wingers. I would try Miley there, says Brian.
Can he play in goal?
He can do no wrong.
Oh, God. Look, I think the criticism of Tonali is a little bit overboard because of the standards that he set himself earlier in the season. You just expected him to turn up and excel week in, week out because his levels were so high. He's dropped a little bit below that, but there was things he did again today that were excellent. I don't know whether he's carrying an injury or not, but he's still a quality player.
Let's hear from Eddie Howe then, the Newcastle United head coach. Speaking after today's victory over Crystal Palace, he does talk to Matthew Racebeck, but first of all, he's talking to BBC Radio 5 Live's Mike Miney.
Eddie, that was pretty convincing by the end.
In the end I think it was, but that was a tough game, tight game. We always knew it was going to be. Games against Crystal Palace are incredibly difficult. Very, very pleased with the players because that game was in the balance, and too many of those types of games this season we haven't come out with a win, so to do so, back-to-back wins, puts us in a much better position.
By the end, certainly in the second half, it seemed close back to your best, would you say?
I think there was flashes of it. I think we've been better in other games. When I look back at the Everton game, Manchester City game, I think there's some really strong performance. Chelsea game here for long periods of the match. Today, I don't think we quite hit those levels, but we did enough. And I think the big difference today is our defensive performance was really strong. Great to keep a clean sheet, and Nick didn't have too much to do. So that was the positive, I think.
Bruno Guimaraes gets his 7th Premier League goal of the season today. That's his joint best in a single season. We're only just past the halfway mark as well. How important is it that he's now getting on the score sheet more?
Yeah, really important. I think he's got a sort of different ways of scoring goals this season. A few from set plays, funny enough, although he's not the biggest. He's sort of positioning's pretty good, and he's got a good sense of goal scoring ability in his game. And I think the big players make big contributions and can decide these types of games, and we needed him to do that in recent weeks, and he's really stepped up. So I'm very pleased with his individual performance.
1 down, 8 to go still in January in this relentless schedule for you.
Yeah, we know January is going to be huge for us. We've sort of had our eye on the month for a while. It's going to be definitive for me in our season because of the cup competitions that we'll enter at some stage later in the month. But really the Premier League has to take our number one priority, and because it was the first 2 games and a spell really where we need to try and find a rhythm and a way of winning and a confidence back in our game. And today, I think, has hopefully given us that for now Wednesday, which will be equally important.
Eddie, thank you.
Eddie, you spoke about how important January is and how big were them 3 points with the character your team's shown.
Yeah, and I think it's the character and the willingness to win and to battle and to scrap tight games. This was never going to be, for me, a pretty game because of the opposition that we faced, the conditions that we're playing in, the number of games that we've had. We're welcoming players back from injury, but our squad isn't at full strength. So the players have done incredibly well in recent weeks to keep battling, to keep going, and we know we've got players that can make the difference. I think we've got real quality in our squad, and I think that showed again ultimately today.
Yeah, your bench was a lot stronger. How important was it when they came off the bench that they did improve the game situation?
Yeah, it's one thing having the names on the bench, but they've got to come on and actually make the difference, and I felt they all did today. I mean, Harvey in particular I thought really stood out. He gave us a real threat down that left hand side, and always with Harvey there's a goal scoring threat there too, and I think he's really unlucky not to sort of have a goal to his name today, but a big contribution from him. But all the other guys, Jacob Ramsey I thought played really well and gave us a composure on the ball that we hadn't had previously, so I think they all made our performance better, and I think it sort of shows also how much we've missed those guys. Tino, Kieran, Sven Botman, the defenders that we've missed, I think has contributed to our defensive performances.
In a clean sheet, you made a big call 2 games ago bringing Nick back. You said he didn't have much to do, but it's been a long time since you've had a clean sheet.
Yeah, and I think Nick will hopefully only get better with the more games and training that he's had. He's missed a period of time, so he's a massive present for us. Shot stopper, clean sheet getter normally when he's playing well, and hopefully he can have a really good run.
Eddie, in the first half, he had the ball in the net twice, but they were disallowed for offside. Once after a VAR check, the flag went up. What were you thinking at half-time? Because you'd scored 2 goals, but obviously it was level.
Yeah, I think I quickly saw the first one and it looks just offside, which some respects when you see it and it's probably clear in your own mind, you accept it better. And the second one I think was a lot clearer, that Joe was offside. But it's still, the players have to handle that on the pitch because they don't see the pictures that like I do. So coming down from the big high of thinking you're scoring to not, something the players I think have got used to now with VAR, but still a good response from the players.
Lots of good performances today, but how big was the display in midfield from Joe Linton this afternoon?
Yeah, I thought Joe did really well, and I think the last 2 performances alone show how much we'd missed him previously when he was on the bench, but we couldn't really use him. So he's a gigantic presence for us. He's a ball winner. You can't have enough players like that on your team, and also his character and his will to win and his positivity. So delighted for him, and I thought he improved in the game like everyone else did.
Thank you.
Eddie Howe there, speaking to Matthew Raisbeck after the 2-0 victory over Crystal Palace today. Let's bring in Andrew, who's been listening to that conversation. Evening, Andrew.
Hi Colin, hi Andrew, hi Benno.
Hello Andrew. Hey Andrew.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year
to you, mate.
Good.
Overriding thoughts. What stood out for you? Who stood out for you?
Oh, Joe Linton and Lewis Smiley were absolutely superb. Joe Linton, since he's got back in the team, but also got back to fitness because in some of the previous games he just didn't look right, but he looks fit now and he makes an absolutely massive difference. And Louis Miley's just getting better and better. There's an argument to say, going forward, you could keep him there, put Tino at left back, and push up Lewis Hall. That's an option.
We've had plenty. Somebody else said put Miley on the right hand side of that forward three earlier on. So there's plenty of there's plenty of options coming out. When you say push Hall further on, where you mean playing wide left?
Yeah. I mean, he played there in his younger days at Chelsea. He was left wing, left back, or centre midfield. He could play them three positions, and you know, it's you know, just something that they could maybe do, you know, through a game. I'm not saying, you know, to go ahead and do it now, but it's an option that Eddie could perhaps look at in the future. But regarding today's game, I thought it was a good performance all round, really. I thought it was comfortable without being comfortable, if you know what I mean. Palace were never a threat, really. Nick's Pope's had now to do. He's not had a save to make. They started brightly, you know, had some corners, a bit of pressure, but you know, it was just a matter of time until we scored. And I thought first half was relatively even, probably shaded that, but second half were definitely the better team. And we could have won by a couple more, really, but much better performance.
Yeah, it echoes what I said earlier on to you, Colin. You know, I thought first half was pretty even. There wasn't a great deal in it. I thought we were a little bit passive in the way that we played first half. I thought second half there was more aggression, played with a better pace, and yeah, we could have won it by more. You know, when we got the first goal, you always felt there was a second one coming, and we had other chances where good chances that we really should have put away, to be fair, but we didn't. But you would have taken 2-0 before the game, to be fair. But it was second half performance was so much better than the first half. We played with a better intensity, a better aggression, and look, the outcome of the game thoroughly deserved to win it.
Indeed, Andrew, going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much for talking to us this evening as well. Just under 10 minutes left, and I'll come back to you with a message or two before the end. But Benno, we're going to hear now from Sunderland's head coach, Régis Le Bris. Here he is talking to Nick Barnes.
Happy because it wasn't obvious, especially after the first half. I think we struggled to find the right rhythm, probably a lack of energy, because I think tactically it was okay. We expected with our high press, a direct play, and they went like that, and we were not dominant on the first contact or the second balls. So we struggled in this part. With the ball, we tried, but it was difficult to break their lines. At the half-time, we said it's still 1-0, and we are not far from the level. And with this lack of energy, it's up to us to decide to switch on. And I think we did it. And we're just doing simple things well, with a bit more composure with the ball, winning 2, 3, 4 second balls. The dynamic changed. Yeah, I felt as well that on the bench with Ballard, especially because they went so often direct, that with a strong centre-back, probably it was possible to manage this part of the game in a better way. And Nordi came off the right, and we know that he's really skilled to use the space and to deliver crosses. It was a brilliant goal, and we had a cross with Nordi for Enzo just before he hit the post. So we have this quality, but sometimes we need to wait.
No Wilson Isidore today?
No minor injury. Probably, I hope it will be available for Brentford.
And the irony is, had he been available, he may well have been on before Broby scored today. Such is fate.
We don't know. We never know. So happy for Brian, because he worked hard and he deserved this goal.
Do you think Dan Ballard coming on as well was a bit of a catalyst for you? It gave, I think, Xhaka especially, someone to aim his free kicks, set pieces, and he became a focus for you.
Yeah, on set pieces, I think we were not really efficient today. But in the high press, I think it changed the dynamic, because you always need 2 strong centre backs against direct play like that. And I think he showed this quality and helped the squad, and the dynamic changed.
What is Brian Broby like as a person? Because I think as fans we all see him as this
Premier League striker that was ready-made for this league in his physicality, the way he can run, the way he can finish. Is he a big personality off the field as well?
He's quiet, really calm and composed in the dressing room, but on the pitch he's a fighter. So I think these two faces of Brian are really good.
And he took his goal incredibly well. Brian Brobbey being talked about by Rachel Slabreeze there to Nick Barnes after the draw today. He acknowledged the lack of energy. He was fairly honest and open. He always is, Gary. He's not gonna hide that. There's no point.
No, there's no point at all. It was there to see. We spoke about it right throughout that first 45 minutes. Fatigue, the effort which they put in against Manchester City, most probably are caught up for him. He's also mentioned that we didn't really win the first or the second ball. Our energy wasn't there, but they kept going and they were finding it difficult to break the lines, but they stuck at the job and they got the rewards in the end.
Indeed. Gary, I'm going to let you go. You've got a slightly longer journey home than John does. You'll be up and down that East Coast like nobody's business in the next 4 days. Safe journey home, Gary. Thank you as always.
Thank you. Cheers.
Gary Bennett, our Sunderland pundit, former Sunderland centre-half and captain, who will be back with us on Wednesday evening. I will take you through the permutations, how things are, the logistics of Wednesday night. We've got 2 games and 2 different kick-off times, but Sunderland are away at Brentford on Wednesday evening. I don't imagine you're terribly warm, Ando, so I will give you a couple more messages and then I will let you get inside as well. This one from Gareth says, good job for Jacob Murphy that we won, or I was hoying him in the river tomorrow night, says Gareth.
Fair enough.
Was it fair enough? I mean, there's we know he looks like he might have picked up an injury again and therefore may not play in midweek, but he's one who was probably unlucky when he was starting to be left out the team, but now there's more pressure on him when he has to take chances when he's brought back in.
Yeah, he gets the ball into the box nice and early. He whips some great balls across goal, but his general play, he gives the ball away an awful lot. He does give the ball away, and I think that's deflected by the fact that of the quality of ball that he sticks in the box. So you've got to balance one off against the other, I suppose.
Indeed. You know what, I'm going to let you go. John Anderson, thank you very much indeed. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you again on Monday. Cheers, which is tomorrow apparently. Thank you very much to John Anderson, who'll be back on Total Sport tomorrow from 6 o'clock. Time then to let you know what's happening on Wednesday night. Another splitting of our commentaries, 2 different places to listen to the commentaries on Wednesday night, because they don't kick off at the same time, but there is an overlap. So on Wednesday night, Sunderland away at Brentford at 7:30. Newcastle United at home to Leeds United is at 8:15. So you'll be able to listen to the Sunderland game on DAB and on Freeview, and the Newcastle game. Total Sport will go on a little bit longer on FM to listen to the build-up to Newcastle United against Leeds, and then that's where the commentary will be with Matthew Racebeck and John Anderson. FM on Wednesday night. Elsewhere in the Premier League today, Leeds, talking of them, drew 1-1 with Manchester United, both goals coming in the middle of the second half. Brentford, who Sunderland play, as we've just mentioned, won 4-2 away at Everton, and Igor Thiago hat-trick for Brentford. Nathan Collins got the other one. Everton never really in the game. They were 3-0 down before they got there first. The other game that I said I would tell you how it finished, I got there eventually. Fulham 2, Liverpool 2. Both teams scoring in injury time. Cody Gakpo put Liverpool 2-1 up in the 94th minute, and then Harrison Reed scored in the 97th. So Fulham 2, Liverpool 2, now a full-time score. Manchester City against Chelsea, currently goalless after half an hour. Newcastle beat Crystal Palace 2-0. Sunderland drew 1-1 at Tottenham Hotspur. Plenty for you and Simon Pride to go through in Total Sport. 6 o'clock tomorrow.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle. On the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker,
Play BBC Radio Newcastle.
and on your radio.
The sound of the North East is BBC Radio Newcastle.
BBC News at 6 o'clock. This is Claire Ronacres.
The US Secretary of State says Washington is ready to work with Venezuela's remaining leaders following the capture of President Maduro. But Marco Rubio warned pressure will continue to be applied to the country until it complies with American demands. Mr. Maduro is being held in New York under drugs and weapons charges after strikes on the Venezuelan capital Caracas. Our South America correspondent Ione Wells said Maduro's supporters will be scared.
All of those allies of Nicolas Maduro who are still in power will be acutely aware of the fact that Nicolas Maduro has been dragged out of the country, blindfolded, his hands tied, sent to detention, where he's now going to face trial in New York. If they don't do what the US says, I think they will know that the US has shown it could do the same to them.
Eva Schloss, an Auschwitz survivor and the stepsister of the Holocaust diary author Anne Frank, has died. She was 96. Ms. Schloss dedicated her life to educating people about the Nazis' persecution of millions of Jewish people and co-founded the Anne Frank Trust. The King and Queen said they were deeply saddened. German police suspect that a far-left organisation called the Volcano Group was responsible for the arson attack that left tens of thousands of people without power in Berlin yesterday. The climate extremists have claimed they were behind the sabotage. The former Little Mix star Jessie Nelson has revealed that her twin baby daughters have been diagnosed with a rare genetic condition, which means they will probably never walk. The singer revealed that her girls have spinal muscular atrophy in an online video. Here's our culture correspondent, Noor Nanji.
In her video, Jessie Nelson explained that her daughters had not been showing as much movement in their legs as they should be and were struggling to feed properly. After months of appointments, they were diagnosed with SMA, a progressive muscle wasting disease that can cause death within 2 years if untreated. Jessie Nelson said that the girls were assessed at Great Ormond Street Hospital, where she was told they were probably never going to be able to walk or regain neck strength. The singer added that she wanted to share her story to help other children to get diagnosed as quickly as possible.
In football's Premier League, Leeds drew 1-1 at home to Manchester United. Brendan Aronson put Leeds ahead before an equaliser from Matthias Cunha. The Leeds head coach Daniel Farke said his team's performance was good but could have been better.
We are a bit disappointed because it was possible also to win this game. You could feel that we were a bit tired today and also were missing many key players. Was probably football-wise not our best performance, but we found still a way to defend really well, and it shows also and says a lot that you are disappointed with just 1 point against Man United as a promoted side.
In today's other matches, Brentford won 4-2 at Everton, Newcastle defeated Crystal Palace 2-0, Tottenham and Sunderland drew 1-1, and Fulham and Liverpool finished 2-2.